take a bite of my dinner. Okay, we are live. Excellent. Okay. Well, now I can't take a bite. So, hello everybody. Oh, I should mute this so that's not coming through the stream. Welcome to another episode of this Scarlet Sash Stories interlude story. This one is called The Safe House, and this is the third and final episode of this horror story using the Flames of Freedom system. We are Fiends and Friends, producing the show in partnership with Grim and Perilous Publishing. And this will be the dramatic conclusion of this spooky little tale that we've been playing. We are missing one player who is sick, but otherwise we are all here. So it is myself, Hunter Nedland, and I am joined by 4 wonderful cast members. Starting in the upper left, we have Nate.
That's me. I just put snacks in my mouth.
True faster.
Yeah. Everybody who watches knows me from the Scarlet Sash Stories where I play Celine. This time I am playing Zane Willard, who is a midwife and I forgot what the other one was because there's another spot for it. And a folk healer. That's what it was. Yeah. Folk healer. And he's here to, help out, take care of people, heal some people, and things got real weird real quick. And it's bad.
Below Nate, we have Topher.
Hey guys, back reprising my role tonight as Albert Dupont, a Frenchman who is a turncoat and a freebooter. Very skilled in the art of infiltration, making other people believe that he's supposed to be there. So, did some fun stuff with that. If you didn't see the previous episodes, we have those recorded. But looking forward to the conclusion tonight.
Those episodes are, or will be, on the official Zweihander RPG YouTube channel, if anybody wants to check out episode 1 and episode 2 of The Safe House. So, our other 2 cast members, down on the bottom of the screen, we have Chris.
That's me. I'm going to be playing Augustine Rojas. He has some secrets that have not come to light. Don't know if they're going to, but
I think they might.
They might, and that'll be fun, I think. But yeah, I am also a pretty stalwart member of the group and have played in most of our games thus far and intend to continue doing so.
And finally, last but certainly not least, in the lower right, we have our friend Nacho.
Hi everyone, I'm playing Guillermo Ortiz Sanchez. He's a young fella from Spain, actually, and he is a gambler. He's been dragged to this rebellion people. Now we are searching for this house because we lost contact with them, the rebellion side, and we are checking out what's going on. Until we found it, those were walking in their behind legs. That was weird, and
a little bit.
This weird thing going on.
Dear the deer.
Yeah. So,
Go.
quick recap of the story so far. This group of rebel investigators were dispatched by the Revolutionary Intelligence, Council or whatever, to investigate a safe house that had gone quiet in rural New Jersey. And all of this is taking place during the Revolutionary War. It's literally the year 1776 in the game. And so our group of intrepid investigators ventured to this house in hopes of figuring out what happened to the Minutemen who were stationed here and were running the operation. And they arrived to find a seemingly deserted house were spooked a little bit by a mountain lion on the way in, searched a bunch of rooms, met a woman who proceeded to then run off in an attempt to notify somebody that the others were here. And they continued exploring, never to see her again yet.
Yeah.
And went downstairs into the basement here, heard a musket gunshot, and tracked down a group of redcoats who were seemingly like lost in the basement.
I gave them a startle.
Yeah, initiated a gunfight, killed 3 of them. They did something weird with this mechanical box that they had right here, and one of them ran off into some kind of sub-basement. The group pursued, ended up beneath the house even deeper, and the redcoat, sort of with his last bits of energy, explained to who he thought was a returning British officer.
Fine turncoat of a fellow.
Yeah. Was reporting what had occurred to this disguised British officer who was Albert, and spilled the beans that the redcoats got here on a tip to investigate the safe house, clear out the Minutemen, remove this part of the rebel intelligence. And when they got here, also found a seemingly abandoned place except for one woman who they killed. They found this mysterious ancient brass box in the house and basically got trapped here as they were exploring the house and trying to figure out if there are any more rebels. Got trapped in the basement, and they figured out that this box, being some kind of object of power, was affecting the house in mysterious ways. And so it has multiple settings, one of which seems to have a dramatic effect on the basement and this strange sort of extra-dimensional space below the basement. And so that redcoat told basically all he knew to Albert, who then proceeded to strangle him unconscious. And this man had been shot twice in the chest already and was very close to dead. And so the investigators then had a bit of a talk here in this weird sub-basement. They knew that the puzzle box is half complete. 2 of the ancient Greek symbols were filled already, and 2 of them were unfilled. And through the combined education of the gambler Guillermo, who happens to know a lot of ancient Greek, and I believe it was Chris's character, right? You also rolled education?
I think it was, yeah. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Plus the information that was provided by the British soldier, they were able to piece together that the instructions on the box basically said that you have to overcome the challenges presented by the box to unlock what is hidden inside. And the box, in some kind of strange occult process, recruits the surrounding area to facilitate these challenges. And so this box, being incredibly old, probably contains some kind of artifact or something. And so the group had to figure out, do they want to stay in the house and complete the box, do some more research, explore this weird sub-basement area some more, or peace out, go back to headquarters, maybe get some reinforcements or something. And I believe they all eventually settled on the idea of leaving the safe house with the puzzle box in tow, only to be greeted at the exit by a gruesome scene. Oh, and I forgot to mention the extra dimensional doors. So So in the basement, when they were messing with the box, they figured out that they can, in some way, affect how the doors of the basement open to areas that they shouldn't open to, like rainforests or cathedrals or things like that. But so as they were leaving the safe house, the cougar that they had heard at the very beginning, which sort of spooked them inside, emerged from the forest, came dashing into the open area. At first, looking ferocious and fearsome, and then suddenly things took a turn for the weird as deer charged out from the forest and mauled the cougar to death, basically at the front door of the house, and then proceeded to stand up on their back legs like people and walk away back into the darkness of the forest. And that is, I believe, literally where we left off, with our 5 adventurers, our investigators, staring at this mutilated mountain lion body, sort of lit by the dim light of their lanterns coming from the entryway of the house, considering their options and what they should do from here. And so I will change the music and turn it over.
And if you're wondering at home, what the fuck? Hunter is a very weird dude.
He has a fear of deer.
I do actually legitimately find deer very unsettling.
I'm not one to talk, bro. Dolls creep me the fuck out.
Deer scare me because they can hurt you. Like
Yeah, understandable.
they're like big and fast and
Yeah.
stupid.
Yours is more logical than mine.
So yeah. Investigators, investigate. All right, I don't know.
I'd like to change my vote and stay here for the night.
Yeah, that might be for the best.
I will take over Hunter's character. As an honorary hunter myself, I feel I'm qualified.
Honorary.
Wow.
And so I don't even remember his character's name. Let's look. Oh yeah,
You're in the club.
Yeah, I'm the Clob. I don't remember what he said last time. But the Clob will also say that maybe, perhaps, at least waiting till the sun comes up would be a good idea. And it is still raining outside, so it's very dark. This is, again, like, right at the end of winter in northeast United States. So it's still quite cold outside. The weather is bad, and it is very dark.
We brought all the horses in, didn't we? It wasn't just like me bringing mine in.
I don't remember. I am fine.
Horses outside.
I believe that most people left their horses outside, because at the very
Thanks for you guys.
in the first episode, Nate's character, Zane, attempted to. You were like trying to search the saddlebags on the British horses,
And I spooked them.
and they all got
ran off.
spooked. But your horse didn't, right? Or did it?
Correct.
Yeah. So you.
I had tied its reins loosely to it because I'm like, that way it can run if something happens. And someone's like, oh, why don't you just bring it in? So I brought it in.
Yeah, so you brought your horse inside, and I don't think anybody ever like distinctly specified what they did with their horses.
Man, that could be them.
Yeah, so my assumption is that they were probably tied to the horse pole, which we also looked up the name of, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, we did.
Isn't it hitch?
Hitching-
Something like
It's
that.
a hitching rail.
Hitching rail, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And you actually you can't see the rail from where you guys are here in this entryway. So it is unclear, besides Zane's horse, who is in the coat room, You don't know the fate of the other 4 horses.
I do want to go and check from like another window and see if they're there.
Yeah, and you would remember that this
Mhm.
this little like whiskey room had a window that looked.
You'll have to move us to that.
Yeah.
Oh.
we're still on
We're
the
still
2
on the-
lodges.
Oh, silly me. Here we go. Yeah, this little whiskey room has a window that overlooks the hitching rail.
Okay. So I'll head over there and check it out then.
Um, Yeah, and to your surprise, there are 4 horses tied to the rail. They look very unhappy. They're
Yeah.
stomping and whinnying, kind of like side-eyeing over their backs the body of the dead mountain lion.
Mm-hmm.
But none of them have broken their reins or bolted or anything.
Well, that's good.
Okay, I would like to. Are these like locker rooms?
Those are locked, and no one has been able to open those yet. So Guillermo, as you are sort of looking at these rooms, a woman you
We should-
recognize
Hey,
walks
Hello.
through
about to say we should check for her.
Yeah. Hello, ghost.
this door.
Hello, ghost.
And she looks at you, and she's like, "What are you doing here? Who are you?"
What are you doing here? Who are you?
Well, I'm a Minuteman. This is our. What's the safe word? What's the
The
passcode?
safe word is
She's like reaching for her gun.
Don't we know it?
To,
So I don't
first
think.
flight north.
Yeah, we
on
didn't.
the
We didn't
winter.
ever determine a specific one,
No.
but you did tell her the passcode when you were upstairs first. So you do know it, and you can say it to her.
Yeah. Just say it. However.
Yeah, and so she relaxes. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know anybody was supposed to be coming up this way."
Yeah, I'm here because I had to deliver the box.
Deliver the box. What box?
The box that they send us to bring here. They told us she gave us the name of someone who was
Yeah,
was
so
also
she
with
mentioned
her.
that there was a scholar guy here who was working
Scholar,
on
yeah.
the box.
Did she give us a name? I can't recall.
I think she did. Let me grab my paper real quick. Yeah, his name was John Hampton.
They told us to bring us the device to Sean Hampton.
And she's like, "Well, another one?
Yeah. Found
Okay.
two.
Yeah. So you're not here alone?
No. I'm here with my companions. Did you
Interesting.
think that they will send that kind of stuff alone? Just one soldier? Come on.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, lead the way. Show me the
Yeah,
box, and
for
we
sure.
can get it to John.
Yeah, so I let her like go in front of me so I don't lose sight of her.
Okay. So you
Like,
want
I'll
to
do it
you kind of want to like through this door.
Yeah, come
Okay.
in. I open the door for her and everything.
Okay, so she'll go through this door to the south here.
If I can, while she's passing through me,
Yeah.
I will try to like touch her or like bump her with the door. You know, like
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah. So
Do
you
some
can.
stupid thing to see if she's corporeal.
So you reach out, and your hand passes through her, and she kind of like, as this happens, like gives a little shiver. She's like, "Whoo! It's certainly cold these days. I'm looking forward to the first day of spring." And she continues
Yeah,
through the
me
door.
too.
Spooky.
Go peeky. Let's go.
Yeah. So you'll have to go through the doors, but and she
What's
will.
your name? I'll start doing
Oh,
like
God.
small talk. Like, what's your name? And
Where did I write her name down? Chris, did you write her name down?
Hunter.
I wasn't here when you guys met her.
Oh, you weren't. Okay. I want to say it was Clara Taylor. That sounds right.
Cool, it's Clara Taylor now.
Yeah, it's Clara Taylor.
okay.
Oh, Hunter.
I maybe didn't organize this the best, but forgive me for I sinned.
And do we have the red coats tied down? Yeah, right.
I don't know. Where did you guys put them? Do you remember?
We put them in
we
one
were-
of the rooms tied up.
Yeah, so they're not in this
No.
entryway.
We were going to take with us, I think. We were going to leave them here.
That's right. We were.
I think we were
that's
going
what
to
the
take
red
them with
circle
us.
is. I think that's supposed to be them.
Yeah.
Red circle. Oh yeah,
The red
they're
and gray circle.
they're tied up right here. Yeah, so she comes in.
They're gagged, right?
Yeah, I think they're both unconscious too.
Okay.
Um, she walks in with you, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, redcoats! What happened?"
Yeah, they were around here. They were spying on the place, so took them out. We keep the safe house safe.
Oh my gosh, they were.
So
That's
I
so lucky that you
went
came
into-
here at the same time that they were here.
yeah, well, you know, how's the trace go? We get information, we act on information, and we were told that someone was going to look for this place, so that's why we are all here.
Zane is very
Are
confused.
they
at the
close enough?
conversation.
I will present you
Yeah,
to
are
the
they
gang.
close enough now for me to like
Yeah,
hear
they
and
they
speak?
have entered the same room as all of you.
When I
um,
look at her, can I tell that she's like incorporeal?
No.
Like,
Translucent?
So she looks just like a person standing there. She like light bounces off of her and everything.
Okay.
well, I think that I should react the way that I assume that my character would react when she ran away from us earlier. And
She
I
went
should
to go find
say,
the guy.
yeah, I would say, where have you been? You ran away and we didn't see you again.
No, we
and
just,
she looks at
I was going to present you to the gang. I was going to I present you to the gang.
you know, and she looks at Albert and she's like, What do you mean? Like, you just got
No,
here.
Albert. Yes, we just got
Oh.
here, Albert. You're confusing with the other girl that we were in the other safe house in some Hamptons up there, you know?
No,
So
it was
just-
definitely
just-
this
Just
one here.
pretend that we- Yeah.
I definitely remember seeing her.
And she like looks at the other companion. She's like, I don't think I've ever met any of you before. Have you been to this house before?
No, this is our first time.
I look at
I
Zane,
will
confused as hell.
Someone club her on the head. I'm so stumped right now. What's going on? We definitely met her earlier, right?
Did
Right,
you see me?
Albert?
Did you remember Blinky?
Who the fuck is Blinky?
I love the exaggerated wink.
I'm just rolling with my character not being the brightest because intelligence is my lowest stat.
Yeah, and she's like looking at Albert and Zane, and she's like, "You're kind of weirding me out. Like, I've never
I'm
seen
weird,
you
yeah.
before."
You're weirding me out.
Maybe she has a sister.
Look, there's some crazy stuff going on dealing with redcoats and deer that are killing mountain lions and standing on their hind legs, walking around like people. I want to
And-
go home, but I'm scared.
And Clara like looks at Guillermo, and she's like, "You brought these
I
people
think you
with
need
you?"
a chamomile tea.
She's like, "I think, let me go. I should go find somebody. I don't think I should be here alone with."
I think you should
what-
take us with Dr. Johann Sebastian Mastropiero. What was
Hampton.
the name of the guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. John, the scholar.
John.
Yeah, I
Where's
should
the
go
scholar?
find him. We need to talk to him.
And she's like, okay. And she's like backing away, kind of.
And who's the higher rank here between us?
So you guys are like not actually military.
But there should be something like.
And so she is like, she's a Minuteman. So she would be like private something around that rank. I don't even remember back in that time if they had those specific like discrete ranks. Because it's still a very like fledgling army that's just like farmers hired off the field and everything at this point. And so pulling rank wouldn't necessarily be super applicable right now.
Okay. I'll follow her.
Okay. And
Take...
yeah, so she'll back away and she's like, "Yeah, if you want to come with me, you can. I don't know, I don't know what's going on here." And so she'll go up the stairs and go up
You think
this
she's on drugs, Albert? Oh, Albert.
to the right here. And this is the first time that we have ever been on the second floor.
And I shout, "You guys coming?"
I guess, yeah. If we're invited.
And she'll stop at the top of the stairs and like look back. She's like, "I think they should stay. I don't.
Okay.
It's
Fine with me.
I agree.
I think they're tired from traveling or something."
I think she's drunk.
And I will just go ahead and
I will take what's the name of Hunter's character?
Knocklob.
Okay, Knocklob. Can you come with me?
Yeah, Knocklob will go with you. He's probably at least trying to catch on a little bit to what Guillermo is doing. But yeah, he's definitely also like very weirded out.
This is
And-
clearly a classic case of bonk on the head amnesia. Someone obviously clubbed her. I
Yeah.
know these things. I'm a midwife.
Oh, I didn't mean to take that wall with me. Sometimes. So yeah, the second floor is over to the right here.
Yeah. In it.
And I went ahead and revealed all of it. What up,
Lord.
bro? Okay, that sounds good.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
You're shouting also.
High five.
How high is she? No, I'm just kidding.
She isn't right now.
Yet.
And so she comes upstairs with Knocklob and Guillermo and Albert. Are you like sneaking behind?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would.
He's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so roll me your stealth real quick, and she's like, "Okay, follow me this way," and she comes up here and she opens this door to the left. And as you guys come over here, she stops at the door right here.
There's not really a stealth.
There's sneak or something.
Oh,
there's
stealth. There it is. Yeah,
I was gonna say, I think it's
There's
literally
definitely
called
something.
stealth.
Sorry, I'm bad.
Ooh, nice. Still.
Oh, good job. Yeah, so you're like kind of creeping up and following. And so she stops you two outside this door right here, and she's like, "Okay, we can go into the powder room, but I'm gonna ask that you wait here, when I go into the next room, because Dr. Hampton doesn't like to be disturbed, and I'll bring him out to you, okay?"
Okay.
And so she opens the door and comes over here, And when you guys enter
But
and
does she leave the door open?
yeah, so she wanted you guys to follow her into here.
Okay.
And this is clearly was the powder room of a extremely wealthy couple. So like the way that a lot of these rooms in these like manor houses were arranged was that there was like a room separate from the bedroom where you would like get dressed and things like that. And then the bedroom proper would be the next room in. And so she's like, okay, wait right here. And she gives like a little knock, like, tuk, tuk, and she waits a second, and she steps like very like deliberately through the door and shuts it behind her. And
I want to eavesdrop.
you want to eavesdrop? Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Perfect. So you put your ear against the door, and all of you throughout the house, really. So you two here in the powder room, you hear like there's like a pregnant pause as there's just like silent in this dark house. And you hear the creaking of the floorboards and the rain on the roof above you and everything. And then in a split second, there's a blood-curdling scream that like tears through the house. Upper floor, lower floor. Everybody give me a resolve check. Guillermo, you will do it at -10 because you are literally like right listening to the door. That's a crit fail.
Oh,
That's
my
another crit
God.
fail.
Let's go, Nacho! Crit fails!
That's
Oh,
a
God.
failure.
I don't think I have anything to deal with that, right?
I
Oh, let me do
None
it.
of us succeeded. You'll have to do no clubs.
Yeah, let me do knock clubs real quick. Oh, that's Eider Clork. I don't want her. Give me this knock lob.
Yeah, no, this is gonna help.
Willpower, resolve, submit,
I am going to.
failure. So you have 2 good boy points right now between the 5 of you.
I'm gonna spend a coin to re-roll my resolve.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Nate clearly agrees with this decision.
I just mean we're running out and I need one of those for one of my things.
Good job, Topher. Okay, so everybody else suffers
Do I go to
fear.
incapacitated directly, or
What was that?
do I go to incapacitated?
So you'll suffer fear, that's a big fear. So 21 points of mental peril as
Yeah.
this scream that is way louder than it should be tears through the house, assaulting everybody except for Albert, who is, for whatever reason, ready for it.
Zane screams back in terror.
Yeah. Oh, God.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, because you
Jesus Christ,
two
That's 3 levels.
you two downstairs had no warning or
God.
indication or anything. So yeah, this is very surprising and startling.
Over my threshold. That's bad. I'm stressed as fuck.
This is bad.
Spooky.
So the scream came from this room.
It did. It came
Just-
directly from
okay.
out the other side of the door.
Okay, so I kick the door and go inside with my
I hear Zane screaming. I come into the powder room.
Zane's downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Knocklob.
want to see. I want to see what's going on.
Okay. Knocklob is like cowering in the corner over here.
Zane is cowering somewhere.
Oh yeah, let me check Knocklob's peril.
Did Guillermo leave the door open when he went in?
Probably. Yeah, he kicked it open, so it would stay open.
Kick it open.
And
I have
so
to run or this. I have to pick something, right? Like run.
no, you can
Here.
you can just kick it open.
Okay.
And so this room, the door opens into what was once a extremely opulent bedroom, master bedroom of the the lady and lord of this household. Has been converted into a makeshift study. And the most notable thing at the center of this room, there is, there's a table here. The bed has kind of been flipped up against the wall to one side. And there's like boxes, and a bookshelf has been brought up, and a chair. And on the floor next to the chair is the corpse of a man who looks like he was shot in the back at point blank range and has been dead for quite some time on the floor here. And most noticeably, there is no girl to be seen anywhere.
Okay, so
And so this room is like cluttered with like pages and papers and diagrams and drawings.
I start looking for the information about the box.
Yeah, so basically everything in here is about the box. And it's all of Dr. John Hampton's writings that he was doing, studying the box and the various things that he did to figure out how it worked. And so I'll give you the cliff notes, basically. I'm not going to make you roll or anything. But he had been keeping meticulous, like, diary-style entries about his explorations with this puzzle box. And basically says a lot of the same things that you guys sort of deduced through your own study about how there's the 4 modes, and they seem to somehow, like, correspond to parts of the house. The little, like, inset Greek numeral or Greek letter is the sort of key piece to completing one of the modes. And once all 4 modes are complete, the box will open and presumably present whatever reward lies inside for those who are worthy. And he then details the 2 trials that he already completed. The first trial was a magical trial. So he basically had to recite an incantation and basically get each of the little spinny little arms here. If you look at the puzzle box, oops, where's my tool? Each of these indicators needed to point at various pieces of a mathematical equation that like corresponded with the positions of the planets and the sky and everything. And the completion of this ritual summoned the little keystone piece that he then inserted into the what did I tell you? Alpha and beta were done, and then gamma and delta were not, right? So inserted it into the alpha piece. And that's like a multi-page sort of story about how he was piecing it together and figuring it out and performing this ritual. And then he said that the next sort of part of this dissertation about the puzzle box, he says, like, this is when things started to change with the house. And so the puzzle box took on this sort of association with the various parts of the house. And so you see kind of scribbled in his notes, beta, second floor, gamma, first floor, delta, basement. And beta, he then details how he solved that portion. And he said that when the box was set to beta, the doors and hallways and various parts of the second story of the house acted differently. Okay. They, sometimes you would open a door and it would lead to somewhere else, or sometimes you would walk down a hallway and end up like on the other side of the house, opposite of where you were walking. And he said finally he figured out, he found a secret attic to the house that didn't exist prior to the box being activated. And basically describes this trek that he took up this attic, floor after floor, higher and higher into the sky, basically climbing this ever narrowing wooden tower into the sky. And you can see parts where he's like, I looked out the window and that was a mistake. I'm clearly hundreds of feet in the air above the house, in this strange extra dimensional space, until he finally ascended to the top, where there was like basically like a platform where he needed to walk to the edge of each side of this platform to collect the pieces of the little keystone metal insert to put in the beta. And so he details, the treacherous horror and bravery that he had to overcome to crawl to the very edge of this towering structure that should never exist. And then when he slotted it in, walked back down the tower, the beta mode was complete, and the second floor began to act normal. And so then...
Didn't keep him from getting shot.
Yeah, and so then that is sort of where the notes abruptly end. There is some like speculation about the other two, because he did the magical one and he did the second floor one. And so there's like, need to investigate gamma mode and delta mode with the first floor and the basement. Need to figure out what exactly needs to be done to retrieve the pieces to finish the last two modes. And then that's sort of where the notes end, as he was, you can surmise, shot by the British.
Does he have any notes of the prize?
There's a lot of speculation. He like on the there's like a big list where he's like handwritten potential like prizes or whatever. There's like the Shroud of Turin ? Or magical Ankh ? Like future technology ? All kinds
of the deer ?
Yeah, all kinds of like things that you recognize as either like fictional or mythical or like pseudo history of like the arrow that killed Achilles ? because a lot of them are like Greek themed, where he's like, okay, this is clearly of ancient Greek origin. You know, and like one of them is like bolt of lightning from Zeus, question mark, question mark. And so
I hope
he,
if we get it open, we just see that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where they open the Ark of the Covenant and
yeah,
it
and
melts
you,
to Nazi.
your face is all
Just
melt.
see the scene.
Oh yeah, you just watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
We don't
like,
know what motion pictures are yet.
Not
Chris.
yet. But
Right? So it would be mind blowing
It
if
would
we
be.
opened that and we watched that.
It would be very surprising.
Just the television inside.
With the interdimensional cable.
Yeah.
Like from Rick and
Mhm.
Morty.
Yes.
Jesus.
It would be like
The
terrible.
hell are little bits? Who
Right.
would come up with tiny food? Why do they have such small faces and big heads?
Yeah,
Um,
it's like a table where the box was added.
yeah, so you can see there's like a space on his like work table where the box was like would have been sitting that isn't like covered in papers or whatever.
Anything else that I could get from here?
Trying to think if there's anything
Does
else
he have any notes in his
like on his
pockets?
person.
Or- yeah, on his
No,
person?
not really. It looked like he was literally in the middle of writing something when he was killed.
Okay, so check this room here.
This is a washroom, so it is
Aw.
it is a bathtub,
It
a
goes
mirror.
nowhere. Come on down to
uh,
real fake doors.
Yeah, so it is. It appears to be still being used as a washroom. It hasn't really been changed or anything like that.
Oh, nothing
Do
else here.
I see anything that looks like a piece of a keystone or anything that he might have discovered and not notated yet?
No. So
So it's just books and writings.
yeah. So he was very
No objects or
meticulous.
anything of power
Yeah,
or
it's
anything like that?
it is just like him studying this mechanism, and any like he was very purposeful about the notes he's taken. He wasn't like crazy or anything.
No gold crowns. Just
yeah.
a bunch of paper.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, this is, I need to figure out what this is. We turned it on. We can't turn it off. Things are getting weird.
Does he have any clue from where it came from? Like,
Yes. So
history of it?
there is detail sort of on how this ended up here in the United States. So this mechanism was recovered from a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. And it was sort of miraculously stored in a watertight chest on a boat that sank in very calm water. And so it was basically perfectly preserved over the course of the hundreds of years that it sat on the bottom. When the boat was washed ashore by a storm, picked clean by looters and everything, and the device was sold into the black market, passed hands between various
How
sellers.
convenient.
Yeah, sellers and collectors, and sort of caught the attention of a rebel sympathizer in France, who then brought it over to the United States when he emigrated, and then passed it on to rebel intelligence as the war broke out, thinking, oh, maybe this could be useful.
All right, so Guillermo went in first. I made sure nothing was wrong with No Club, and then I followed him in.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm arriving afterwards, I'm sure that he's looking through these notes that you're
Yeah,
talking
like
about.
shuffling
right now.
through them and reading, and
I'm like, what was that scream? Where did she go? I asked Guillermo.
I don't know where she goes. She's a ghost.
What do you mean she's a ghost?
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
No.
What, she was real as day. What do you mean she's a ghost? How do you know she was a ghost?
Do you know what we work at here? Because
She
that's
looked
why they
corporeal.
send us. Yeah, but this kind of thing, that's why they send us. If they had something normal, they
I've
wouldn't
seen
send us.
ghosts before that you could see through them.
Well, no, not this one. I don't know why, but no, this
How-
one.
How
I
did you
tried-
confirm?
Because I tried to touch her.
All right, I see the dead body, and I want to go over and like see if he's like cold.
Oh yeah, he's long dead.
He's like ice
Yeah.
cold, rigor mortis, all that.
Yeah, I'd say at this point he's room temperature, and stiffening up.
Okay.
From your experience with dead people, it's been a few days. It hasn't been like years.
Yeah.
I think we should find Herb.
How are we supposed to find a ghost, Guillermo?
We've just
Her
been
body,
raided,
not
boys.
the ghost. The
We
body.
got raided.
Yeah.
Aw,
Take
dang.
it.
Tail.
Hey,
Oh, you want to find
they raided us
you wanna
before.
find her. you want to find her
Yeah.
corpse.
Cool
Yeah.
guy, we
Okay.
or chick. I don't know.
That body.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, this body's only been dead a couple of days, so I'm
Oh my
thinking it could
God.
have been our British friends.
Yeah. Do you think we could get something more out of your friend, your British friend, the one that you talked to?
I mean, we've got two unconscious guys down there. I
Yeah,
want to
but
search the doctor's pockets, see if there's anything of
one-
note.
One knows your face, and the other one thinks you're a fellow. So. I was
Oh no,
thinking-
so I'm trying to remember. You guys have captured. Oh yeah. So one of them knows.
and the other one doesn't.
Yeah. So
One of them knows I'm a turncoat, the other
Yeah.
one does not.
he saw you shot the guy.
Yeah.
But the other one
point
ran
blank.
away before he saw that.
So I want to search his pockets. Is there anything that he has of note? Any additional?
There's nothing like particularly noteworthy. He has like a bread crust and things that you would expect a diligent, absorbed researcher to have, but not like any crumpled piece of paper or anything.
Let's search this second story and see if we can find her body or anything else of note up here, because we haven't been up here yet.
Okay,
Let's
so
call the-
okay,
let's
go
call
ahead.
the others, so we do it quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can call the others up.
Okay,
And I will go up.
yeah. So the three,
Zane's gonna snort some smelling salts and head up.
yeah.
He's all freaked out, trying to calm down.
Is there any way to get more to recover peril beside snorting smelling
A
salts?
heal? Does anybody have a
Um,
heal?
Already done that. So
I don't think heal
can't
does
do
that.
Yeah, heal
No.
doesn't do it.
Doesn't do peril.
That you guys could like take a short rest probably if you wanted and chill for like a few hours, and I would allow you to recover a peril, like one peril track.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, let's see if we can make sure that the second story is secure.
Actually,
Because
I have a question
Go ahead.
about that real quick. Sorry.
Ooh.
because his notes indicate the second story went back to normal after he solved Beta, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that the second story is secure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then we can take
Sure.
a short rest.
good idea.
I have a thing that says I'm well grounded, and so whenever I suffer from stress, fear, and terror provoked by threats classified as supernatural, I do not gain conflict. Would
yeah.
I have taken that?
So for this one shot, let's
Mhm.
say that you take one less step.
Okay.
Because conflict won't really come into play in terms of
Okay.
the one shot. Because
Conflict is like corruption. We
yeah,
wouldn't
conflict
actually
is
end up
like an
doing that.
ongoing thing.
Yeah.
So to make that useful, absolutely, yeah, you can be like,
Okay.
You're like,
so I'm in
oh,
peril
yeah,
instead
you're like-
of- yeah.
yeah, you're like ghost, whatever.
It would better than
I ain't afraid of no
A
ghosts.
little scary.
So I'd say let's split up. I kind of like direct people to split up and make sure that there's nobody in any of these rooms, and to yell
Yeah.
if they see anything.
Yeah. So
Do that.
I will, just for the sake of brevity, detail what you guys find because it is not immediately dangerous. Starting from the left, oops, that's a circle. That's not my ruler tool. This room right here is another powder room. Clearly was a powder room for children because this room right here is a double bedroom for what seem to have belonged to two daughters, two female children, 2 beds, little wardrobes, cutesy, kind of frilly.
And is that a little washroom?
And then this is a washroom for their room.
So any bodies, anything, any
Nope,
blood?
just looks like it's been used as like a sleeping bunk at some point, but it's not like grisly or anything like that.
Okay.
And then this is like the long, opulent master hallway for the bedrooms. Beautiful carpets, paintings, works of art and that sort of thing. Comes down here to the double door that opens up to the balcony that overlooks the lawn, the dead cougar outside. Yeah, open air. It has like a railing.
Just got another raid.
Another raid.
Another
That's
one.
27.
Thank you,
Nice.
Devil's
Thank you
Luck
so
Gaming.
much.
Guys.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're playing some Flames of Freedom as part of a partnership with the publishers, and we're doing a little horror story here for spooky Halloween month. We are known as Fiends and Friends. Thank you for raiding. We do have our little Fiends command in the chat that the publishers gave us. And so we are in the middle of exploring a haunted house and trying to solve a puzzle box mystery. So stick around because this is actually the dramatic conclusion of our story. This is a 3-part one-shot, and we are on part 3. So our intrepid investigators are just about ready to figure out what exactly is happening with this mystical box of mysteries, and why is it making deer walk on their hind legs and causing redcoats to go crazy in the basement. And so welcome, give Zweihander RPG a follow, and stick around. And so yeah, continuing with our second story manner, balcony, and then this is obviously the staircase that you came up on where it goes down in this like T shape. This right here, just north of the balcony, is the linen closet. So this is all shelving and closets for blankets and sheets and everything, and it looks like it hasn't been used in a long time. And then finally over here, this corridor of the second story is the servants' quarters. And so each of these rooms are little servant bedrooms where various members of staff would have slept, like the cook, the butler, the assistant butler, the stable master, whatever. And importantly, in this lowest room here, this was clearly the head butler's quarters, and he, in his room, hanging on a hook, sort of where his bed was and everything, is a ring of keys. And there are at least a dozen wrought iron keys of different configurations on this ring. And so, did I
Take
miss
the
any?
keys.
Yeah, I figured you would.
And then as we pass by this thing, what is this thing up
This is a servant's staircase, and so you enter in here, and it's a little spiral staircase, and it actually, if you go down,
here? Oh, I see where it's gonna come out.
yeah, comes
Okay.
out
Mm.
right here. Oops, didn't
Gotcha.
reveal all of
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I go down for this one, so
Yeah, comes out right here. sort of on the interior of this performance area.
Okay.
And we can reveal the rest of this real quick. As you come down the servants' staircase.
So since we have some people that were afflicted by that fear and peril,
Yeah.
and we've now explored the second story and kind of found out that it's safe up here, at least according to his notes and what we can see. I assume that we can just say that we take a quick rest so that they can gain some of that.
Yeah.
Back on the peril track.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so
So I lock the 2 redcoats. One of these servants' room.
okay. And so you there is no indication on any of the keys for what they do or go to. And so you do literally have to try each individual one in the door until you find the one that actually locks the door. But you absolutely, if you want to bring these 2 redcoats up.
Yeah, but I put them not together.
Okay, so you want to...
Separate room.
Here, I can
Yeah,
copy.
because if I want to Albert to try to reinterrogate the one, so they don't speak to each other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you put them in 2 separate rooms. And yeah, so then...
Check the rooms if there is anything that they could use or weapons or something. You know.
There would be like a
not.
candlestick and things like that if you wanted to like remove anything that
Yeah.
could be like a bludgeon.
Yeah. Just in case.
And yeah, again, so it takes some time for each door to be like, okay, no, it's not this one. Okay, no, it's not this one. And so through the process of elimination, you can begin to remember these 2 keys. One is for this northernmost servants' quarters. One is for this second servants' quarters. And that leaves you with like 16 other keys that you don't know what they do yet.
Well, onto a docket door, I will have a key
Yeah.
somewhere.
Can I scrutinize the keys and like look at the tips of them and see if any of them would like match the inset things for the box or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Where the hell is it? There we go.
Who's
Oh,
calling
nice.
them friends?
I think
Topher.
they're labeling the one that Topher has fooled. And
That's my friend.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so Albert has a complicated relationship with these 2
With one of the
Yeah.
redcoats.
these 2 British soldiers.
So
One
the
of
guy
them
in the top room saw me shoot one of his friends point
Yeah,
blank in the
the
Yeah.
other
face,
guy has not.
and the other guy thinks I'm a commanding officer of it.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
fine. That's the
um
life of a turncoat. I don't know what to tell you.
I
guys.
mean, yeah. So yeah, you're able to look at the keys, sort of pick through them, give them a close examine. You don't see anything that matches, you know, your Greek symbols that you're looking for right here. But you do notice that the keys are very obviously, how do I put this? They are worn differently. They're worn out in different ways. Some of them are obviously used a lot more than the other ones. And the ones that aren't used very much look to be a little bit fancier, maybe shinier, as if they would go to like these drawing rooms and bedrooms for the owners of the house. Whereas there are like maybe 5 keys that have clearly been scraped and locked and used excessively, that are shabbier, probably to some kind of like closet or something that's used very often, that kind of thing.
All right. So now that we've taken that quick rest, did everybody go up one on the
Yeah.
peril condition track.
So I would say that you guys would probably want to do this together somewhere. Probably not
Yeah.
not where the dead guy is.
I'm thinking over here.
Yeah, so you guys can all like hang out in the little
That's
girl's
fair.
room. We'll bring Augustin down as well.
So, what everyone thinks
From here,
about it.
yeah, from here I would just kind of speak up after we've had our rest. Because I went over while everybody was sleeping, I can't sleep, so I was going over the notes
Zane's
from
sleeping right now.
from the doctor. So I'm gonna suggest to everyone. It looks like the doc had figured out how this box works, and it sounds like we were on the right track. He was able to complete the alpha and beta tests or challenges. It looks like the alpha was some sort of incantation. The beta was something on this second floor. That's why the second floor doesn't have any of the weird things going on that we felt downstairs. And he surmised that gamma could be found on the first floor and delta could be found in the basement. So since we're trapped here by the creepy deer outside anyways, why don't we just try to complete the challenges? It didn't sound like he had a hard time with them.
I mean, it's either that or we stay here and hope during the day we can go home, but
The thing
Well,
with the
I'd like to explore the first floor and see if I can find the gamma piece.
the thing
You
is,
may as
like,
well.
if we complete the challenge and we open the box, you don't know what the price is.
We don't have to open the box. We can just get the pieces and then take the box back to headquarters when everything is calm. That's up to you guys.
I mean, how do you know everything's gonna be all calm afterwards?
Because when I have it on the slides where a piece has already been filled in, everything feels normal.
You say that, but outside isn't normal right now.
Do you think you could get out more from your friend?
I can try to talk to him again.
We could set up like.
I mean, I
like
did
we
choke him
torture
out.
you-
He
we-
might
we could-
he might
we
realize
could-
that I'm the one that choked him out.
You smack him? No, you hit him. I think. You
No,
choke
I-
him? Or
I-
did
I
you
strangled him.
knock- strangle him?
I strangled him to knock him out.
No, I kind of hid.
Yeah, maybe you could say that he was like fading out due to blood loss. You think you could pull that off?
I mean, I think I can try, but I think he's gonna see through it.
Look, I can come. I mean, I could come in there and tend his wounds, and that might let him see you in a more positive light, or us in a more positive light.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go talk to him.
Okay.
So, do you
I'll
want?
assist with that.
Would you talk to him in like your red coat fashion, or would you talk to him like a friend or like a rebel?
No, I'm gonna talk to him as if I'm still his friend, his redcoat officer
Commanding
friend.
officer.
We could. You think we could stage something like a torture scene? Like we were torturing you, and, like just you didn't give up, and then like trying to convince him. And do you know where I'm getting?
No, what do you mean?
Okay, so we could stage like we were torturing you. We put
Me?
them, yeah. Like we were doing that to you. We were not going to do it, and then like you be in the same room with him. And then you go, oh, they hit me too much, and blah blah blah, and try to get
So
you
you're
more on
saying
his side.
you're gonna like tie up my hands or something, and then
I'm
leave
not
me in
going
the
to.
room?
I'm going to tie your hands.
Yeah.
I'm going to tie
You're
your
gonna need to
hands,
beat the
actually.
snot out of him to make it look real.
Just give me a black eye. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've been tortured, you're gonna have more than a black eye, probably.
We could
Have you
throw
seen
some
people after
blood
they've been
over.
tortured?
No,
I've seen
we could-
people after they've been tortured. I've had to tend to their wounds. It's messed up.
Listen, we got a powder room right here. There's got to be some sort of like makeup or something. It's fine.
Yeah,
There you go.
you could throw some blood over his red coat. So there's blood
Seems to
over.
me we're overcomplicating things. Our friend
I-
there is near to death.
An idea.
Yeah, he's been shot several times in the chest. I think I'm just gonna talk
I
to
mean,
him.
we could also all go grab redcoats too. There's still some down at the.
All right, Zane,
coat
why don't
room.
you grab the other 2 redcoats and you come in to tend his wounds.
I don't know
You didn't
if I
see us,
want
right?
to necessarily do that just because I've already talked to them, but having one for like Augustine wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay.
I spit. I'm just like, you couldn't pay me enough to put this coat on.
All right, then don't wear a coat. It's fine.
Just because I feel like it's gonna be more suspicious for Zane because I encountered them and talked to them and didn't pretend like I was one. I could just be. I'm gonna stick with the hey, I was traveling here and stumbled across this, or whatever, and shit's been weird and I don't want to do this alone. So that's what I'm basically gonna roll this.
All right,
with.
so just start tending his wounds, and then I'm gonna like
Okay.
I don't know, just kind of pat his cheek or something to wake him up.
Okay.
I don't. Did he see me? I don't think
I'm pretty
so.
sure you're the one who shot him.
Yeah, you shot him twice. In
Yeah,
the
I
chest.
shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shot him
Yeah.
twice.
We'll talk to the other one in a minute.
Yeah, I like shotting people.
All right, so I smack him lightly to try to wake him up as Zane is tending his wounds.
Okay. Yeah, so he wakes up and he comes to and he looks at you and he's like, What happened, sir? Are we still in that damned house?
We're still in the house. I took us upstairs. This guy and one of his friends tried to jump us, rebels. But I killed his friend and I'm making him tend to your wounds right now.
Oh, that's what we're going with.
Yeah, and he looks to Zane. He's like, You lied to us.
Because he remembers Zane.
That's why. Well, they had no idea that I was part of it.
Yeah, he remembers you. This is good.
But
Yeah,
I
you
guess
shot at them.
Oh yeah, but did this guy see that?
knows?
God
Oh,
damn
he knows now.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, he
So
was
it's a
in the
little late.
hallway. I'm pretty sure, or maybe he wasn't yet.
Either
No,
way, it's
'cause
too
the
late.
one that
Gopher already
was-
told
Either way,
him,
the
so-
jig's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. And he'll just be like, Zane's just kind of gonna shrug at that and like keep tending to the wounds. God dang it, that's not how you spell tobacco.
Yeah, so he's like,
But
go ahead.
since you're awake, we found some notes up here. I take it from the Lord or doctor or professor that was studying the box. Did you guys discover the notes of his when you were here before us?
Yeah, we looked through them and Captain thought that we could finish it up and then take whatever the prize was back to command with us.
Quite an interesting read, his notes, aren't they?
It's the ramblings of a madman, if you ask me, but from what I've seen now, I guess it's true. Some of it.
You guys the ones that killed him too?
Yeah, when we came in the room, Captain said that he was reaching for a gun, and so they shot him.
Makes sense. Doing the best English accent that a Frenchman can do.
Oh, I am English. Why do you keep doing that thing?
I am English.
I am English. Albert Dupont. So yeah, I kind of like sit down next to him to like make it not so intimidating. Kind of lean up against the wall, and I say, "Let's just you and I now, and this rebel scum." I say we try to finish the box. You haven't seen what's outside, have you?
No, when we went into the basement, it took us, I swear it was days to get out.
I was gonna strap you to my horse and ride off, but as soon as we approached the door, deer people walking on hind legs mauled a mountain lion right in front of us.
I don't even know if you could call it deer people, more like just deer being deer mauling a mountain lion and then standing up on their hind legs and strutting around like humans into the forest.
Also, the way you said that made me think that it was gonna turn into like some weird romance novel for a second. I was going to take you away from me.
Strap you to the back of my horse.
Oh, the deer.
Yeah.
They can't accept our love.
And he looks to Zane, he's like, what fresh hell have you rebels brought to this continent?
Only the freshest hell here, sir.
I'm not the one who brought the box here. You can't pin this one on me. I can't control what my side does.
Ugh,
I'm just a healer.
not that it matters anyway. What are you thinking, sir? I can't. I've lost so much blood I can barely walk.
Well, I'll have him patch you up here. I was just hoping there was a little more you could share with me about what your captain was deciding to do. Were you guys planning on getting out of here or searching for the other pieces?
Well, we were searching for the pieces. We got here and killed the girl and killed the...
That's another freaky thing that's going on. She's still walking around.
And his face pales, even like grayer than he already is in his near-death state. He's like, what do you mean?
Apparently you can't touch her. Hand goes right through her.
I saw her die. We shot her.
Where was her body?
We put it in the closet in case anybody came around.
Maybe if we burn it, she'll go away. What closet?
Oh, let me, okay. And he like stands up, shaky knees. He's like, follow me, I think I remember. And he will lead you.
Yeah, lead us the way.
Are you gonna roll? Oh, you did roll heal.
I got a successful heal,
Nice.
so
Yep.
he moves up one additional step up the damage condition track positively and an equal number of steps up the peril condition track.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because he was like...
He was almost dead.
Yeah, he was very nearly
Yeah.
dead and is now like you patch him up and maybe like rub a tincture in or something, and he stands up and he's like, I feel strangely
Foi
much
decent.
better. Like,
Look,
it's like,
I told you I'm a healer. I generally only fight if I have to, and I don't like to kill in the first place.
Yep.
So,
well, yeah, and like
if I can help people out, I will, enemy or not. So,
and he like, you see like a few emotions flash across his face as he's like thinking about it, and he looks at you with his like brows furrowed. He's like, I swear if I found out you worked some foul magics on me, it'll be the end of you.
I mean, I could have worked some foul magics on you, but it'd take 3 hours and it would heal you. Not that you'd believe me. And we don't have 3 hours.
He's like, let's get this over with. And he will...
So we follow him.
Yeah, he'll take you downstairs,
Okay.
into the entryway, and then loop around here to these two closets here.
Okay.
And so I'll move him real quick.
And I'll follow.
During all of this, are there any like fireplaces upstairs where I can start a fire?
Yeah, each of these rooms would have like a little miniature stove kind of thing.
Okay.
Probably like a wood burning stove.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for warmth and the occasional like
Yeah.
tea or whatever.
Okay. And
All
I'm
right,
gonna start a
so,
fire in the room.
I
with
thought
the
you said
other-
these rooms
Okay.
down here were locked, though.
They
These
are locked.
closets.
So he comes down and he kind of stands in the middle here. He's like, it was one of these, and he goes and tries the one on the right. And he's like, well, okay, this one's locked. And he tries the one on the left, and he's like, they're both locked. But I swear, we brought the body in here when we put it in one of these. And he's like looking, and he's like, did you guys find any keys anywhere? Did you lock these doors?
Guillermo has the keys. Oh, fuck.
We saw. Zane will say, "Well, we saw some keys. Like earlier. I can go grab them."
Zane, can you go grab those keys that we saw?
Yeah. So I will run off and go get the keys from Guillermo.
Okay. So Zane runs off. And as Zane, like, you hear Zane's footsteps receding from this left door. Oops. Draw me a shape. Clara enters the room. And she looks at Albert. And you're wearing your red coat, right? And she looks at the red coat. And her face, like, immediate, like, fear, terror, rage. She goes for her gun, draws it on Albert, like, sensing your, sort of presence or whatever. And she says, I swear to God, if you aren't with the rebels, tell me the safe word or I'll blow both of you away right here.
Relax, young lady. The safe word is, and I give it to
Yeah,
her.
you tell her the safe word. And she turns to the other soldier, and she's like, what are you two doing here? Why wasn't I told that we would have spies here? I almost said spies in disguise, but that's a movie.
Spies in disguise.
Yeah, that's like a TV show or something.
Jesus.
And she, like, sort of very hesitantly holsters her flintlock, and she's like, what are you doing here? Nobody told me that anybody was coming.
What is he doing in this moment?
He is like sheer terror, like, like fight or flight or freeze. He's in 100% freeze mode right now.
Amazing.
Just like staring at her, and like eyes sort of like shooting to you and looking at her.
Well, we're simply here with some news about redcoats headed this way. We were spies behind enemy lines. We simply came to warn everyone in the safe house. We were looking around for you. We must have come in because we came in from the opposite door that you just entered from, so I just hadn't run into you yet.
She narrows her eyes a little bit. She's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to go to talk to John about this. And
Feel free. We'll wait right here.
give me an awareness test. Damn.
Oh shit.
So let's see. We're gonna use this to advance the story, but we're also gonna make it a little bit complicated. So she's like, okay, yeah, I'll go upstairs real quick, and she like walks towards you, to go through the door behind you and use the servant's staircase upstairs. You see on her neck that she is wearing a necklace with a brass medallion in the shape of the Greek letter rho. Or not rho, sorry. Gamma. It looks like an R. That's why I said rho. But it looks like, a straight line R shape. Sort of dangling from her neck. But not yet. She is walking towards the door and sort of reaches to brush past you, and her, like, part of her body and hand, like, passes through where she would have, like, touched your shoulder, and she, like, stops and, like, takes a step back, and she, like, looks at you, and she looks behind at the red coat, who's still, like, he's not even looking at her. He's just, like, standing in the room, motionless, like, trying to, like, pretend that nothing is happening.
Poor guy.
That he's not looking directly at a ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, he's literally like staring at the doorway and like not looking as she's walking towards you. And she stops and she like looks at you and she's like, What just happened? And she like slowly reaches out to touch you.
And I stop her by saying, "Wow, that's a beautiful necklace. Where did you get that?"
And she's like a half an inch from like putting her hand on your chest, and she looks down and she grabs it and she's like, "Oh, I think it was a gift from who? I'm pretty sure it was a gift or something like that."
I'm pretty sure that's a Greek letter, isn't it?
And she like looks at it and she's like, it looks like an R, I think.
Would you mind if I took a closer look at it?
And she like looks at you really weird. And like slowly takes the necklace off, like out from under her hair. And she's like, "Yeah, I guess." And she holds it out to.
And I hold my hand out underneath it.
She drops it, and it passes through your hand and through the floor, and her eyes widen
with a fake look of shock also.
And she screams, "Ghost!" and takes off through the doorway, slams it behind her.
Oh.
And you hear her yelling and screaming, and then it abruptly stops.
Did the necklace disappear?
It fell through the floor,
Okay.
and disappeared.
All right, Zane, how long are you gonna take with those keys, buddy?
And right then, Zane walks through the door with the keys.
And I walk up to the red coat, who's still looking not at me but at the wall.
Yeah, he's like looking at the door, and he's
I
like,
kind of clap him on the back, and I'm like, "It's okay, buddy. We'll get through this."
and you hear him almost imperceptibly. He's like, "What in the bloody hell, sir?"
What happened while I was gone? I heard somebody scream ghost.
Clara came through, and I just look at Zane and shrug.
What the fuck? What? I'm confused.
So I take the keys from him,
Like,
and
I
I
got
start trying.
keys.
I asked the red coat again, which door was it, do you think?
He's like, "I think it was this one on the right."
Okay, so I start trying the keys to open the door.
Yeah, and so you find one of the 5 well-worn keys, and go through it, unlock the door. When you open it, inside, sorry, did I say right? It's the left one.
Okay.
Inside is the body of Clara, sort of.
Is there a gamma necklace around her?
Around her neck is a brass gamma-shaped medallion and a necklace.
Are you writing not friends, Chris?
Not writing it.
All right,
For
so
once, it's not me.
I take my. Ooh, how do I want to do this? The kitchen's right north of us, right?
Yeah, to the right, northeast. This is the kitchen up here.
Where's there a bathroom around here? Anywhere on the first floor? Probably not.
Like a toilet?
Like a tub. Probably
In the
upstairs.
kitchen there would be like a big tub sink.
Like a wash
yeah, like
sink,
a wash basin sort of thing.
So I want to carry her. I want to take the necklace, slip it in my pocket.
It is
and I wanna
solid.
Carry her into the kitchen and drop her in the tub there.
Okay.
And I want to use my torch to light her body on fire.
So you carry her body here into the kitchen.
Yeah, into the wash basin or whatever is there.
Yeah, so you like come into the corner here where there's the wash basin.
Yeah.
and put her in there. And you are, it takes a little bit, but you are able to begin burning Claire's body. And as you're doing that, it begins to catch. Obviously, it smells horrible.
Why?
From this doorway, she walks in again, and she looks and she says, "What are you?" And she like takes a step forward. She's like, "What are you?"
Is our red coat friend here with us? Is our red coat friend here with us?
And she dissolves into mist and nothingness, and dissipates.
Do I hear or like smell any of this?
You would probably, depending on what you're doing specifically in the room, you would probably smell it coming, up the staircase.
I started a fire and kind of started cooking
Okay.
some rations that I had.
All right. So
this guy know what was in the other door on the right?
I was carrying the puzzle box last I knew.
Yeah, you still have it.
So I want to slot the gamma letter into the gamma space.
And so from my understanding, it was still on gamma this whole time.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you pull it out, the piece of the necklace, you're able to separate it from the chain. It slides like so perfectly into the slot that it's like completely flush without seam or anything. And
which should make the box
the box,
moving.
It quiets, the arms take one final spin to like land on specific resting places, and gamma is solved. There's no sound or anything coming from the box.
Then I will how do I want to handle this? Brits are
friends, not food.
Brits are friends, not food. I don't know. He's looking mighty tasty.
So, did our red coat friend follow us into the kitchen?
Yeah. He probably would,
Okay.
he's just like dumbfounded, awestruck at like what is going on, and he's like, "Did you solve it?"
And I kind of turn the puzzle box towards him with the gamma inset.
And he takes a step forward and he like kind of runs his fingers over where it slid into place. And he's like, that means there's just one left, right?
And I nod.
And he shudders. He's like, the basement.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use him to go into the basement first. You just wait and see.
I'm gonna ask him if he knows what was in the other locked room.
And he'll say we never unlocked that one.
Okay.
I don't know what's in there.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So does anybody else? Obviously, Chris is doing something. Are you wanting to wake the not friend guy?
Sure.
Or anything like that?
I'm gonna like tend to his wounds and just kind of make sure he's stable and
so he'll
offer him some food.
He'll come to, and he looks at you and he's like, "What is going on? Where am I?"
Damned if I know, friend.
And that it doesn't comfort him in the slightest.
And I just turn to him and I've got like this little like camp ration kind of plate thing, and I'm just like, dinner, and
he's like, hands are tied in front of him,
and I'm like, oh right,
yep,
and I'll like attempt to feed him if he'll let me,
and he like sits back,
can't be too careful,
and he like looks around, and he's like, who are you? Am I captured?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose you're a Yank.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. But
Well, what do you want from me? I can.
right now, I'm trying to give you some dinner. I thought you might be hungry.
And he
I
sits
just
up,
came here to solve a puzzle with my friends.
and and he's like, "Oh, we're still in that damned house, are we?"
We sure are.
And he's like, sometimes I feel like we're never gonna get out of here. And he like nods to the food. And he's like, I would really like to eat something. We ran out of rations while we were in the basement.
I'm nothing if not a generous man, and so like I will kind of like scoot over to him and like start feeding him the meat that I have.
And he chews graciously and thoughtfully, and he looks at you and he says like, so what's your whole deal in all this?
Oh, I help figure things out when other people can't figure it out. That's kind of what my compatriots and I do, and I just like to make sure people are doing all right, and that there are no wrong sides to a war necessarily.
What are you, chaotic neutral over here? What is
and he's like, he kind of like nods along. He's like, yeah, I don't know what became of my companions, but we had a guy kind of like that. Marshall, he's a thinker. He was obsessed with that box. Captain wanted it solved, but I think Marshall was the only one who really understood it.
What do you mean he understood it?
He could, whatever those letters were, Latin, Greek, whatever. He could read some of it. He, him and the captain went through the notes of the crazy guy here. One of your Yank friends, I guess.
The doctor?
Yeah, the scholar or whatever.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry. Marshall's been through quite a lot.
And yeah, he's like, honestly, I kind of feel the same way you do. I didn't want to sail all the way to this bloody hellhole just to get shot at.
I don't blame you, friend. Life is too short for such things.
And he chews some more meat, and he's like, what is this? This is really good. Is this bacon?
It's pork, yeah.
Is pork? It's excellent.
Thank you. My very own recipe.
And yeah, you guys kind of just chill. Obviously he's not like comfortable, but he sort of assumes that he's not going to die right now.
Yeah.
And then Guillermo and Knocklob, are you guys doing anything specific?
They're asleep.
Yeah, still sleeping. Found some nice rich bed to lay down in.
Egyptian cotton.
Go ahead.
800 thread Egyptian cotton. They're
Yeah.
just living the life.
Yeah. I would lie down on the room and try to pick some of the notes, and I will go through them again.
Yeah.
If I find anything else, anything extra, some side notes, or like while I wait for Albert and Zane to come back.
So, I'm trying to think if there's anything extra. Probably not like super pertinent information. It's lots of speculation again of like, what's inside the box and what the challenges could be. And he has notes about like his very brief exploration of the different rooms where he talks about like, in the basement when you have it on Delta mode, some of the doors will, just like on the second floor, open to strange places or that sort of thing. and but yeah, nothing like no grand clue or anything can be found, unfortunately. So it is midnight Central Time right now. So this would be the perfect time for like a short little break, and we will wrap up the final hour of this spooky horror story of, the safe house, Flames of Freedom. And so let me put our little message up, and we will return very shortly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very small. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So yeah, feel free to get some water, go to the bathroom, that sort of thing. There we go.
Well, hopefully everyone's enjoying the show so far. Sorry you guys didn't get to see the stuff with the deer. It was pretty spook. Pretty neat. I was kind of hoping we'd get to fight them, but at the same time, I don't want to walk out there because we will die. There were a lot of them. When the hunter becomes the hunted, you cry like a bitch. I'm just saying.
Nate, did you sing your song?
I did not.
It's like 2 weeks in a row, dude.
I know. Hunter never watches anyways.
He's the worst. He doesn't appreciate anything.
He doesn't.
I have Shine On You Crazy Diamond stuck in my head, and it is driving me insane. Because it's not even the whole song, it's just the dun, 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 dun. Like, that's it, over and over and over and over in my head.
Oh, man.
Also, this song kind of reminds me of the Oompa Loompa song.
Oompa, doompa, doppeldy-doo.
It's the part where they're like, "What are you at? Getting terribly fat. What do you think will come of that? Boom, boom. I don't like the look of it.
So before Hunter comes back,
Hmm.
my plan is to send this guy down to watch the basement door where we found him before. And then I'm gonna come back up and we're gonna decide what to do.
Okay.
Because I kind of want to send him ahead of us into the sub basement so we don't run headfirst into a monster. You know what I mean?
I think
Oh, I
we should
get
send him
that.
into the jungle and find out what happens if because we talked about it, like what happens if the box changes and we're in the jungle room, for instance.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we should send you through with him, and you can tell us if the door disappears.
Sure, why not?
It's okay. I can just send Zane. They're good friends now.
Oh, fuck you.
I mean, I'm good friends with the other guy now, so
You're feeding him your meat.
yeah, it's true. If that's not a sign of great friendship, I don't know what is.
You right.
Brits are friends, not food.
Exactly.
To each their own. That's sick.
You're sick.
Who's sick?
No other hunter is sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Knocklob is sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate. He was looking
It
forward
is
to this.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'll have to try to get him to play another session with us.
Right on.
Sure.
He used to be my DM for in-person 5e stuff for
Nice.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And then after COVID, all of that in-person stuff stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's never done any like Roll20 stuff. So
All right.
An awesome thing.
this was his introduction to online tabletop.
What you got there, Hunter?
All right, cream cone.
I cream cone.
Our cream cone.
Wish I had an ice cone.
Yeah, so Claire's body's burned. The Gamma challenge complete. Only
I want to go check
one
on.
left.
I want to go check on my red coat buddy. See how he's doing.
He is not doing great. He's like excited that you completed the challenge, but he's like looking at Clara's body burning, and kind of like looks at the door behind where she came through, and he's like, I don't think I'll ever begin to understand what's actually going on here, but if we can get this done and get out of here, I think that's our best bet.
I am ready to go home.
He turns to you.
Wow.
He's like,
Does he still have a weapon? Did we leave him with a weapon?
I
don't-
we took that all off.
I don't think
them.
we disarmed
Yeah.
him, or if we did,
No,
maybe
we...
we-
totally did because
Yep.
he was the one that would have been holding the thing, and like I disarmed him.
okay. So I'm gonna assume that we have his pistol here somewhere, and I'm gonna hand it back to him sans bullets.
okay.
And I'm gonna kind of clap him on the shoulder again, just kind of reassure him that everything's gonna be okay.
That leaderly.
Yeah. My ability to prove my allegiance without having to roll.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna kind of start walking down these stairs with him, like shoulder to shoulder,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell him, I want you to wait right here. This is the entrance to the basement where we came down earlier before I found you.
Yeah.
And I want you to just wait right here. and see if you hear anything. I'm gonna go tie the rebel scum back up, and I'll be
What?
right back.
Oh,
He's like, okay, don't wait long. There's, you know, this isn't a holy place.
I'm gonna keep
can't
the
leave
box.
me alone.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna spin the box again yet. There shouldn't be anything happening. I'll be right back. Just give me a few minutes. I'm gonna
Aye,
go
sir.
tie him up, and I'm gonna relieve myself, and then I'll be back.
You guys are the worst after I helped you.
And I want to take Zane upstairs and reconvene with our friends.
Okay, sweet.
And I know Augustine is in the room with our not friend, so I'm gonna give a little rap on the door there as we pass.
And I'll stand up and brush myself off, and I'm just like, pardon me, friend. And I'll excuse myself and go talk to the others.
Oh man.
All right.
So
All
I want
these
to
new friends.
relate to them everything that's happened
Yep.
with the ghost of Clara being dispatched. Show them the gamma key stone that I slotted into the puzzle box.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to them that the friendly redcoat is waiting on the stairs to the basement for us. He still thinks I'm his friend. He thinks Zane here is my rebel cap. That I came back up here to tie him up. I don't know what to do with.
because I do still have my weapons.
I don't know what to do with him. I was thinking we could send him ahead of us into the basement in case there's something hostile down there. We can off him right now if you guys want.
I don't think that would be necessary.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of offing him, so
We can tell him the truth. We can come down there as a fivesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean we could
The
also
pistol
tie
that
him
he
back up.
the pistol that he has is out of bullets. If we do that though, I can't press him for information anymore.
I mean, how much more information?
Not
do
that I
we
think he
need?
has much.
I say we just tie him up, throw him in a room, like our other friend here, and move on. It seems
like a
we still
solid
have
plan
another
to me.
puzzle to solve.
Oh,
If that's what you guys want to do.
to the hands on the device, do they move if I switch them
If
between
only
the ones that we...
only if we spin it to an active.
Yeah. So they will
No,
only
but
move.
Yeah, but right now they're pointing to something, right?
They are motionless, pointing at a variety of different symbols
Okay,
and stuff.
if I switch to the other one that is already placed, they move. And
No,
another side of
no, they stay on the correct set. So they're like
which one?
alpha, beta, and gamma. All three of those modes now, the hands are all pointing at the same symbols. Whereas with delta, the last time you switched to it, they were sort of spinning various speeds and selecting different things and sort of ticking away with the internal mechanism of the machine.
Okay. Does the doctor have any like hypothesis of what blocks represent or what they are or why?
You
they
guys
move?
were able to ascertain that, like, if we look at this
Our
diagram,
system, right?
some of these like around where these different hands and stuff are pointing at, some of them are like the Greek symbols for the planets, so like Jupiter, Mars, that sort of thing. And then some of them are more letters, some of them are like symbols that you've never seen before, and wouldn't sort of know the meaning of. And so when it's on an active mode, each of these little dials and hands and things is sort of ticking away on its own, pointing at various things sort of in time with the mechanism. Whereas when it's complete, they are all three all pointing at the same symbols, motionless.
you think it's wise to place the last on the device?
I don't think we have many other options. We've tried to leave, and dear,
Tried to leave at night.
Yeah.
Haven't tried to leave that morning.
Yeah.
true.
We
Do
also
you-
only have one piece left to find.
And do you really think the box is going to function differently just based on whether it's night or day where we are currently?
I think if the box is completed, I'm hoping that the supernatural occurrences will cease.
Or they will attack us because the box is complete. I don't know
Everything that I've read about it from the research notes here seems to think that it's putting us through challenges to reward us. So I can only go based on that assumption that the challenges will stop once we've completed it.
Assuming that reward is something good.
The implication was generally that it was like a good thing, not like a sort of ironic
It was
punishment or anything like that.
An object of power
Yeah.
that tested your worthiness.
And the notes said that like the more you like completed the challenges or whatever, it made things worse. Like in the house, like he said he completed the first one and things started happening.
But that's also what activated the box. That's
Yeah.
when it started happening.
Okay.
Yeah, the incantation activated the box itself.
So the way I see it is we have two choices. We can either try and wait it out till morning, and if nothing changes, then we're still stuck here and we have to go find this piece. Or we go find the piece and save some time, perhaps.
I mean, at this point, like we're already this far and we may as well find the piece. Maybe it will all stop if we complete everything. We don't know what's gonna happen the longer we wait too. For all we know, those deer might decide to start coming in. So.
And No Club's like, I really don't want that to happen.
Me either.
And No Club's like, you guys still don't want to eat each other, right?
Yeah, like nobody here's a cannibal.
Okay,
So-
well, let's find the last space.
Alright,
Club
so
says that, and everybody just falls into an awkward silence.
Yeah, like,
So-
well, I'm not a cannibal.
I'm not a
So I want to head back downstairs, but I want to kind of tell everybody else to hang back. And I want to stealth down the stairs to my buddy.
Okay. So hit me with that stealth.
Hit me with your stealth, bro.
I want to sneak up behind him without him realizing.
Unfortunately, he hears you coming down, and he turns around and he's like, "Well, what's the plan now, sir?"
Well, the jig is up, guys.
And he looks
And I
at
call the others.
you, like quizzically.
I haven't been completely honest with you, sir. Soldier.
And so I assume you guys are like filing down the stairs behind.
I mean, Zane will like poke his head around the corner and be like, "What?"
It's like, I thought he tied you up. Wait, who are all these people? And his eyes narrow, and he draws
we're
the
not-
gun and points it at you, pulls the trigger.
That's
And
empty, buddy.
The hammer falls on like the little percussion cap, and it goes like, "Pa!" And then he's like, "Damn you."
I will say we're not rebel soldiers, per se, but we are investigators currently working for the rebel army.
And he's like, "And I've been helping you this whole time, you rat."
I did heal you.
He kind of looks just like disgust on his face, and he's like, "Well, what do you want from me now?" Sort of standing at the bottom of the stairs.
Well, I want you to head down to where I found you before, and we're gonna go through that door together.
And he
And I'm gonna give him
I
a
don't
piece
like
of
this.
parchment and like a pen, like a quill and some ink.
Yeah.
Be like, I want you to write down everything you see and any changes you note, and give this back to me when you've finished.
And he's like, I will not go down there by myself.
We'll follow you. We're just not going in the door first.
And he looks at the five of you and he's like, I don't know if you know what you're getting into. My companions and I, we went down there to that sub-basement and we wandered, and it felt like days.
Well, seeing as how the guy you shot is, what was it, like a couple days old there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been
You guys
3-4
probably
days.
were.
He's
And
like,
and as he's doing this, I'm making eye contact with him, and I literally just spin the box to Delta
and
while
you-
we're staring into his eyes.
And you feel that sort of, you're like not all the way in the basement, obviously. You're on the staircase to the lower kitchen. But you still hear like the creak of the settling wood and the change sort of set in. And he looks at you steely-eyed and he's like, I suppose it's either this or death, isn't it?
I mean, I didn't say we wanted to kill you, but if
So-
you're not gonna go down there, we might not
I
leave you
want
in a good
to
spot.
pull out some tobacco and like light it up and smoke it. And then I want to try and charm him and be like, so, you know, things are crazy out there. That whole deer thing was absolutely true. If you need proof, we can go show you the mauled fucking mountain lion. But at this point, we really need to work together and get through this. Yeah, it's kind of shitty we tricked you, but if you don't, odds are we're all gonna die.
I'm gonna pull out some like jerky strips and some other like rations that I have,
then-
like the dry
Of course.
stuff, and like shove them into his pouch.
Of course, if
And
you
then-
don't want to go down there, you can face the man walking deer outside, because
I
we
will-
ain't going out there.
Also offer him like the tobacco for a smoke.
All right. Yeah, so hit
And
me
then-
with that persuasion plus 10 as everybody is like convincing him.
Okay, well it's gonna be plus 20 because tobacco gives you a base plus 10.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, that's why I brought it out and was like smoking and then offered it to him as well.
Yeah, there you go.
But it does have some. Oh my god. Okay, well I failed. Oh wait, if I'm getting
Not
an
overnight.
if I get an assist, somebody gets to roll a d10, right?
yeah.
Does anyone actually have charm as a skill?
I don't
check.
know.
Let me look
I
at
think I have it.
Knocklob.
Because if
This would
Yeah, I was
definitely
gonna
be
say-
an assist.
yeah, because if so, somebody can roll like a d10 and might be able to make it.
I have charm.
Yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
So roll us a d10.
Oops.
Oh my god.
It's not overnight.
Okay. So we failed.
Yeah, so I mean he glares at the five of you and sort of grudgingly takes it and looks at all and says, you know, if it's this or a bullet in the brain, I suppose I can at least see if we can figure out this damn mystery. And you know, if you rebels have any decency at all, if we make it out of this, you know, I guess I have no say over what you do to me. And he'll turn and begin walking towards the sub-basement staircase.
I'm gonna follow him.
Yeah, and so you guys come through this doorway right here in the basement, and it opens to the hallway. And he kind of begins like idly like talking to you guys. Basically he's like remembering the
Stuff that they did.
yeah, what they did. And he's like, some of the doors down here seem to always open to where they were supposed to. And some of them, you never know where you would be looking into. we never dared to, pass into the frozen hellscape or whatever it is that we found on the other side, but this door right here," and he'll stop at the one with the staircase. He said, "This one always opened to this staircase." And he'll open it and step through, and sort of at the top of this exceptionally long staircase that descends down into the darkness, he looks back at all of you, and he's like, "I hope we do make it out of here, but whatever," and walks down the stairs into the darkness.
You follow.
Yep. And so where's my little...
So we're gonna end up over here.
Yep. So you again end up in this sort of weirdly nondescript, like wooden room with wood floors that when you stomp on them, they feel like they sound like they're like hollow underneath, kind of. Same with like the wood paneling walls. And every so often there's like a little like gas lantern kind of candle thing on the wall, dimly lit. And he turns back to all of you and he says, "Whatever you do, don't get split up. There's something about this place down here. It messes with your mind. It's easy to get lost."
So should we like literally hold hands or something? Or tie a rope between us?
And he looks at Zane, he's like, "A rope, probably not a bad idea."
Okay. Zane will pull, because I assume we all had rope, right?
Yeah, you would all
I do.
sort of...
Yeah, so I'll pull out my rope and start tying everybody together. So.
Good plan.
And I will point out that all of you at this point have probably a day or two of travel rations on you at the end of this journey you took to the house. And so then he goes through the hallway here, down the
I
door.
assume there's like some sort of non-perishable food in the house, though, right?
There's got to be some sort of food that hasn't.
Some sort of
Yeah,
I
there
don't know,
probably
rice or
would have
meal
been.
or something.
So if we need food.
If we need
Then
something,
I had
going-
the extra food that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hunted.
Yeah.
So.
So we can hold out for a few days if needed.
Yep. And so yeah, he goes down this hallway and he stops at the doorway. And I assume, what is your guys' marching order? We'll establish that real quick.
That really
I'll
does
follow.
matter because of how
Yeah,
we're tied. So
I'll follow behind him.
Where is No Club?
Zane would prefer to
Club's
be in
here.
the middle somewhere.
We'll bring up the back.
Oh, No
It's
Club's
fine.
there. Okay.
There.
And then Guillermo.
Augustine's
Second.
gonna take up the back.
Yeah, Guillermo
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
second to last.
Yeah.
All
Is
right.
that good with you, Nacho?
Nacho, you're muted. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I was.
And he looks back and he says, "All right, here we go." He opens the door and he turns right. And it is again just this long... Why did that not select? Long hallway. And you all follow him down this again, like, sort of strangely nondescript hallway where it's like wood board floors, kind of repeating panels of wooden walls interspersed with candles every so often to provide light, with a wooden ceiling above you. And he continues walking down this hallway until you reach
These candles are lit?
Yep, they are all lit.
Interesting.
You come to a crossroads intersection, and he stops and he looks back and he says, All right. What direction?
What are our choices? Left or right?
Left or right or forward?
Zane says I think maybe we just always go left. You know, like the whole maze thing. If you're in a left, if you're in a maze, just keep taking lefts, and you'll end up at the exit.
And he like raises his eyebrows and he kind of chuckles and he's like, "That's what we thought too." And he turns left and keeps walking. And you begin to realize that every so often, off to the side, off of this hallway, there's another hallway that just stretches off into the darkness. And then on the left, and then there's one that makes like a right angle turn.
I want to blow out a candle here and there just to see if we encounter somewhere candles aren't lit.
Okay. And so you pass by some candles and blow them out as you're going. And every time you come to an intersection, he will ask, what direction should we go?
What if we try to refine the chapel?
The what?
The chapel.
Oh, you want to refine the deer chapel?
Yeah. What do we, maybe that is what it is the key that we are missing.
So interesting.
We try to get back, switch it off, switch it on again, and reopen the door and try to see if we could refine that place.
And so if you like voice that out loud, the British guy up ahead will turn back and kind of call back to you, and he says, "Good luck getting back there. I think we're gonna be here for a while now."
Oh, shit.
And he stops at an intersection. He's like, "All right, which way do we want to go?"
There's got to be something to this, like.
Have we run across any blown out candles?
You have not.
And there's been no, nothing different about any of the hallways?
They are essentially, it's almost like someone took, a piece of hallway and just, infinitely stretched it in these different directions and intersections and stuff.
Can you push straight, through the wall or anything?
If you're, trying to break the wall?
Not even break it, I just mean, trying to walk through it, maybe it's, a false wall or something?
Nope, it is
at an intersection?
Yep, it's just a wall. And the British guy, after, an hour or two of walking, he'll stop and look back at you, and he's like, does this seem familiar to you guys from anything you've ever read about?
Does it?
You can roll education.
Can I do folklore?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same
I
rule.
was
Or folklore.
Always and always, over and over again.
I succeeded on mine.
Okay,
Yep.
this is weird. Rolls are not going anywhere this night.
Yeah, unfortunately, usually Nacho rolls hot fire, but yeah, so he looks at you and he's like, "What are the letters on the box again?
Alpha, beta, gamma, and delta.
And what language does that come from?
Greek.
And do you remember one of the most famous Greek legends ever told?
The Labyrinth with the Minotaur.
Exactly. Where do you think we are right now?
Did you actually run across the Minotaur down here?
We never did, but we heard it.
How did they get through in that story? What I remembered?
So let's do this. I put my hand over the wall and I start walking with my hand over the wall.
Yeah.
If it's a labyrinth, I will get to the middle.
Okay. You wanna try and find the middle?
If it's a labyrinth and if I never leave my hand off this wall, I will get to the middle. That's it. whatever I find first.
Yeah. Does that sound
Yep.
like a plan to the others?
Sure.
We can try it.
Yeah.
Also, we could do the. We have like rope.
You are all tied together with rope.
Yeah.
Do we have like a long rope? Because the way that Perseo did it was like tying the rope to the
Yeah, the
center
entrance
of
and
the
yeah.
of the labyrinth.
You wouldn't have long enough rope to even like trail as far as you'd walked already. And you guys are already like a good ways in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do the hand on the wall.
Okay. And the British soldier's like, yeah, we hadn't thought of that. And
Yeah.
It's basically the
he's
same
like,
as taking
British,
the same
I'm rebel.
turn.
yeah, and it's very similar, yeah. And he's like, all right, well, we can keep going. Just let me know when you get tired. And you continue walking. And the eeriness and just like
So, did you try-
infiniteness of it. Oh wait, that's like the epic music. I don't want that.
You tried to turn off the device while you were here to see if anything happened.
Yeah, if you turn off the device, eventually you'll find the exit. But I suspect that's not why we're here.
Uh, keep moving until we find the center.
And so you keep walking and walking, and your footfalls on the wooden floor below you become the only sound as the six of you trudge these endless, almost identical hallways until finally it's been hours, or it feels like it's been hours. Your stomach begins to growl. You feel like you need to relieve yourself somewhere. And all there is wood floors, wood walls, and wood ceiling, and candles, as far as you can see. And eventually the British soldier guy in the front will stop to catch his breath in a four-way intersection. And
Wait,
he'll
we hit a four-way?
Yeah, there are
Oh,
it's not like a spiral or anything. It is like
Yeah.
branches and corners
Okay.
and intersections.
okay.
In the four-way, I want to listen to see if we can hear evidence of a creature or something like that down any of the corridors.
So the British guy stops. He's clearly like panting, very exerted from his wounds and everything. And he's like, I think this is where I want to stop for now.
I want to scrutinize and look for something, anything to try and figure out what the hell to do.
Okay, yeah, so roll your scrutinize. Topher, give me your eavesdrop. And,
Oh, damn.
nice. Yeah, so then,
Oh.
Donate.
does anybody, the British guy, like, sits down on the floor, and he's like, I hope you all brought bedrolls or something. And he'll lean against the wall and close his eyes. Nate, so you're looking at these four directions, like the one that you came from, one forward, one left and right. And you see on the right hallway, sort of where Guillermo would have gone, given that he followed his rule or whatever.
I follow my rule.
The wood of the floor here, and actually, now that I think about it, it's both in front of you and to the right. There appears to be faint scuff markings in the wood, as if you have just intersected the trail of something that was moving this way. And with a critical success, you see very faint, sort of imprinted in the wood, hoof prints, where like the tip of a hoof like scuffed some of the wood or scraped a splinter up or something. And it came toward you and then turned right on its trail.
Well, I say we follow those footprints.
Do we want to follow them or go the way it came from?
Well, it came to here and turned around, so we want to follow it back.
It didn't turn around, it turned right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would have turned left on
It
its...
would have been its left, but
Yeah.
our right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we want to follow it.
Okay.
Do you want to follow it or to return to the center? Go to the center and then wait for it there.
Well, how do we know the way it came from is the center?
How do we know following is the center? That's the
We
thing.
don't-
We don't.
we
How do
don't.
we know we're looking for the center?
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe we need to find the Minotaur. Maybe we need to find the center. I don't know. But
No, we need to find
These
the
are
Minotaur, but the Minotaur lives in the center.
either way, I assume the path, whichever way we go, I assume we'll end up at the center. It's just
Okay.
we don't know which way is closer. So if
Yeah.
if like more people want to follow along with it, that's fine. We're less likely to encounter it. But if it has like the piece like Clara did, then we're gonna need to deal with it. But
Yeah, I think he has the piece, but I want to surprise him.
I'm gonna poke at the soldier with my foot and be like, "Get up! What did you guys do when you got out of here before? You were the one trying to be clever and telling us to remember our mythology lessons from ages ago."
And he
said they turned it off.
he opens his one eye and he's like, just turn the box off and eventually you'll wander out.
Well, if we want to surprise the Minotaur, I would say the best thing to do is follow it, because we will be keeping up with it somewhat and less likely to encounter it. And then if we end up in the center, we can set up an ambush and wait for it to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, let's follow the
Unfold.
scuff marks.
So,
And the British guy's like, I'm not gonna walk unless I at least get something to eat.
I'll give
Um,
him. Oh, I
yeah.
gave him like rations and stuff.
him-
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
jerky and
Give him the jerky and
One
whatnot.
second.
Yeah.
There's something knocking on my house. I'll be right back.
I'll knock
it's
on
the
your
Wendigo.
house.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's the deer people.
Yeah.
Dear shine.
Speaking of Wendigos, like we should play Wendigo sometime.
Like the.
Like the game that I'm holding up on my camera right now.
Is that from like the one that's with the vampire and werewolf and mage and all that?
No.
Okay. Because in that game, I believe you can play Wendigos. They've got like multiple things you can play as in that.
I don't know.
Just,
This one's actually called Wendigo.
Yeah, I think it's called like
Yeah.
Wendigo too. Like it's literally like Vampire the
might be.
Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse,
Oh,
Wraith,
no.
whatever.
This
so,
is just Wendigo, and you're like an everyday person.
I mean, yeah, I'd be down for that. That sounds neat.
Yeah. I haven't really looked into it yet. I bought it like months ago, and even though it's like super short, I haven't really investigated yet. What's that? Oh, here's mouse.
Yeah, I'd definitely be down. I'd be interested in something like that.
Also, you should play Cats of Cthulhu.
Cats of Cat.
Yes.
Throw it on the friggin'
I
list.
did.
Good.
It's on there. The only ones I haven't put on yet are Night Witches and Sigil and Shadow. I think all my other ones are on there.
Come on, load.
And I think I might have one other horror one that I don't have on there. I'll have to look.
Excuse me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Ah,
That was something that happened.
the sneeze. Yeah.
Is that what that was?
Which part? The very loud like blast, or me going ah ah?
We didn't hear the blast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It
So you
was
got
literally
me go,
like,
ah.
"Ew!" It reminded me of that GIF of that little kid that's like, "Ah, burn."
Yes,
I just thought you had a stroke, Nate. I'll be honest.
you right. Cats. Yeah. So many games to try.
I know.
And so little time to do so.
That's what Fleeting Fiends is for. Yay!
It's true.
I think the Wendigo got Hunter.
I think so
I hope
too.
Yeah,
so.
I was thinking the same.
Pretty certain.
Certainly seems to be the case.
So we need a
Or the
new
ghost.
We need a new historian, guys.
And yeah.
All right. I'll take over. So the
I'll
deer
do
in the
it.
maze, we're surrounded.
The
There's about
deer are in the
27 of them.
maze.
27
Good.
and a half. One of them is
Perfect.
missing some of its legs.
Listen, they only have 4 legs, and 2 of them they stand on.
Yeah, what if they are using those 2 to stand on because they don't need their other ones because they've got antlers?
Well,
Right.
the deer I saw had replaced an amputated front leg with a chainsaw. So
That's even better. They all have those now, Topher.
What in the world is a
Their limbs
chainsaw?
retract into their body and then pop out, and these whirring
what's a
blades of horror
chainsaw?
start revving loudly, and we're all confused and scared, and it looks bad.
One time I was scared and confused.
Really? It's never happened to me.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I keep seeking it, but alas. Guys, I'm actually pretty bummed about moving out here, not for like the obvious reasons, but like for years. So there were like 2 big time haunted houses in Utah, like haunted attractions, I should say. And this year I was like, my friend Cody would go with me. I'll force Cody and Jonah to go. And then I moved, and I still never got to go to those places, and I'm real pissed off.
That's unfortunate.
It is. You know how long it's been since I've been to a haunted attraction? It's been a
Bro,
long ass time.
down here in Tampa, you can go to this place where you can pay a little bit extra to get a special
Rough you up and shit?
amulet. Yeah, they get a special
Yeah.
amulet around your neck, and they're allowed to rough you up and kidnap you and throw you in a cage.
Yep.
Fun times.
I want to do that. There's an escape room here. Well, I think it's actually up in LA, but they do that too, and I want to go so bad, but like none of my friends will do it. I mean, I don't have many friends out here yet, but Pick was like, nope. And my other
friends
friends
are
that I've
all
told were
wusses.
like, nope, mine too. Come on, Topher. Let's
I'm
go
like,
to this
yeah.
escape room.
I'm like, yeah, kidnap me. Knock my teeth out. End me. I don't care. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Put me out of my misery.
Exactly. Like, this is the year 2021. I don't got anything going for me. Shit. Sorry that our GM died.
Today
everyone.
on Fiends and Friends, we get existential.
I don't want to wait for my lunch to get colder.
Stop it.
Why
Stop it.
can't I eat it now?
Stop it.
New Toyota.
We lost our GM.
Yeah,
So-
the Wendigo got him, it sounds like.
Our historian has disappeared.
We could tell a story about how the Wendigo got him.
Damn you, Wendigo.
Damn you.
Because of all that human flesh he's been eating. That's
I
what
can't
happened.
Wendigo because Wendy's is closed right now.
Oh.
Remember back in the day when they would be until like 2 or 4 in the morning?
Duh.
Good stuff. Oh, White Castle is so bad.
What about a bum bum?
I remember
I'm
when I
singing
was
a song.
14, there was only one McDonald's that did 24 hours. So when we get hungry, we will go there and grab a bite.
Good plan.
Yeah,
We should
It's
do that now.
the only
only
one.
Taco Bell was, and they weren't even 24 hours. I think they were open till like 2 a.m. And then eventually Wendy's did that. And then I think McDonald's went 24 hours. White
Did you
Castle
guys
was 24
Did you
hours.
guys know, or do you guys know, why the Coca-Cola tastes better at McDonald's than other fast food restaurants?
I
So
know
they have like
it's
a special deal with Coke and they get like a special secret flavor or some shit.
It's not a secret flavor, it's how it's packaged and delivered. So
yeah.
I'm sure that you guys know how fountain drinks normally work. They come in those like
Yes.
plastic bag in a box
Yeah,
things that
yeah.
you just hook up to the actual fountain
Yep.
machine.
Yeah.
So McDonald's as a corporation was one of Coca-Cola's very first like major contracts,
Right.
like back in the day. And back then they delivered everything in stainless steel vats. So there was no, I guess, flavor
Of-
affection from the actual plastic or anything like that, or any of the chemicals that they use nowadays. It was just like a pure form of the syrup. So McDonald's apparently signed a deal with them when, you know, things started changing. It was like, we still want to get it in the stainless steel. And because they were like their first major customer, they agreed to it. So ever since then, McDonald's is the only place that gets their shit delivered in those stainless steel vats still.
And that's why it's the best tasting Coca-Cola out of all the other places.
Did you know that that your Coca-Cola tastes closer to my Pepsi?
Oh man.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ian subscribed to Tier 1. They've subscribed
Because
for
you're-
17 months. Dang. We over here
I
helping
like
out the
that.
Playhander channel. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for subscribing.
Yay!
McDonald's Sprite also tastes better, in my opinion, but that's not because of something like that. It's because they use a different recipe than everyone else. McDonald's Sprite is actually higher in sugar content.
And I think Sprite Zero tastes more like Sprite did when I was a kid versus like regular Sprite, which tastes completely different.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, the pretty much any other country, but like the 7-Up and sodas and everything, but specifically like the citrus sodas like that in Seychelles were so much better than they were here because they also use real sugar, and that's fantastic.
I love citrusy drinks. Give
Me
me
too.
7-Up or Sprite or anything like that any day.
Yeah. Although it's got to be like the real sugar ones, like the
Oh,
ones
for
after
sure,
they
for sure.
started replacing it with aspartame.
You know what I
just
really
isn't as good.
You know what I really like is, it's not cherry because they do cherry 7-Up all the time. It's is it
Cranberry.
strawberry? Cranberry? Oh, cranberry. Cranberry
Yeah.
7-Up is the bomb.
Good stuff.
Also, I don't know if you like ginger ale, Chris,
I love ginger ale.
but they have blackberry flavored Canada Dry.
Nice.
Oh, it's good. It's fucking.
To look for that.
They have it at Publix here, which is a southeastern
Mhm.
grocery chain, but I'm sure they have it other places.
Savage Hunter.
Yeah.
A couple of years back, I went there and I was in uh, Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, Cape
Mhm.
Canaveral.
Cape
Yeah, yeah.
Canaveral.
Yeah, Cape Canaveral.
Where NASA is.
Yeah. And they had this machine that bought a cup with a chip inside, and you put it in, and then you touch the buttons, and they prepare anything that you like.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was very cool. You want cherry coke? You just put cherry coke, and it makes the flavors just right there.
Nice.
Oh, you're talking about the freestyle machines. Yeah, those are like everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all over the place here now.
Yeah. Cool.
A lot of
Those
places.
were
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, almost every fast food restaurant has those machines now. So
Yeah,
I'll actually go
it's
in and be like,
smaller.
yeah, I'll actually go in and be like, I want Sprite, but I want grape flavoring in it, and that machine will do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I can get grape Sprite, which is banging too.
I think the guy that invented that was do something with water in places where water wasn't rightfully filtered, so these machines could
sense.
do it. Yeah, no, that was something with Coca-Cola and this guy and invented this machine. You can think about it, it's fondant, so that's smaller than the usual one that they
Yeah.
have to have one for each. Now this guy has just
Yeah.
one with everything.
The only thing that sucks about that is when it is in a fast food place and you've got to wait, like, because you'll get a line of people instead of, like,
Yeah.
oh, I want a Coke and this person wants an orange Fanta. Well, we can get them at the same time. Except with
Yeah,
those
yeah.
machines, we
Don't
can't.
want to Fanta. Don't you want to?
Always one Fanta.
Fanta
Always.
is good.
It's my second favorite orange soda.
Orange soda.
Hunter.
Did Hunter get lost in another realm or
Please?
something?
Yeah, he's going down a hallway of innumerable doors.
Apparently, if he was in.
And now
there
his
he is.
doppelganger's here.
Frickin' finally.
I'm not dead.
God, Hunter. What the hell happened?
You made it.
There's knocking, and I had to talk to a police officer.
There was
Uh-oh.
knocking.
Did you guys get busted for kidnapping kids finally?
We did, unfortunately.
I know it.
I'm going
Wow.
to prison.
Cool that
I
they wanted
told
to
you
finish
need
the
to
game,
sacrifice them before the people find them.
Um,
Wow.
God, never listen.
Full
Yeah.
disclosure, our GM does not actually kidnap children.
yeah.
Nobody call the cops.
Too late. I already did.
Well, that's probably why they were here. Nate.
No.
Nate
Way to go,
ratted-
Nate. You fucked up the game for us.
Nate, you doxed your own GM? What the hell, man?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
why not? Have you met Hunter?
I am the worst.
He kinda is.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously we're gonna go a little bit over time because we started late, and then that was,
Yeah, way to
delay.
go.
And then
Yeah.
Hunter almost got arrested.
no. I
You
was.
should have been like, hey, sorry, I'm busy. Can you guys come back tomorrow? I'll talk to you
I'm
then.
busy GMing my tabletop
Yeah.
RPG group
Please,
officer.
yeah. Please step away.
It's
I'm,
important. We got subscriber, Hunter.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
Yeah, not that you were here to appreciate it.
Yeah, it's not because of
I
me.
told him I appreciated it.
You guys did it. So yeah, you are. You feed the
We
British
fed
guy,
the
Yeah.
crybaby redcoat.
and he
and
decides to
we're-
get up and
we're
keep
following
walking.
the tracks.
And so you begin to follow the tracks, and you.
And I'm oddly clearing my throat while we're walking. Like,
Weird.
yeah.
Why are you? What? Do you have a sore throat? Do I need to take a look at you?
No. I'm fine. I'm fine.
What are you doing?
Okay,
He's-
I'm
he's
good.
Singing. And so yeah, the British guy sort of warily leads you onward. after noticing the tracks, they are easy to follow. So you can see where the scuff marks sort of descend deeper into this gloomy, strange, like bizarro labyrinth made of Victorian architecture. And it is just more walking. You are simply trudging along, and everybody give me either resolve or what is athletics? Or no, wait, toughness is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so resolve or toughness. And this is basically your physical.
Didn't make it. Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
crit success.
Nice. That was close, Chris.
Yeah, so if you failed, you will take 1d10
You
plus
could-
1.
Since Chris did the critical success, maybe she could help
I will
the
take
other
7
one and
peril.
doesn't take the pearl.
Yeah, you could assist somebody.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So who?
So anybody?
It does not break mine.
Okay. Does anybody? Does that exceed yours, Topher? For
No.
7? Okay.
No.
So
Okay.
Chris, you can recover a peril track with your crit
I'm
success.
back to
Nice.
normal, so
So yeah, you guys continue onward. The British guy begins to complain, asking to stop, to rest. Do you allow it?
No.
Guillermo does not. And so as you continue walking hour upon hour, following these scuff marks, you do notice that they never cross over themselves. So you are following behind this thing,
Yeah.
and it hasn't, hasn't made a loop or anything yet. And you do begin to hear it down distant in the hallways through the darkness, a sort of low chuffing noise of deep animalistic breathing. And then you begin to smell it, the smell of shaggy, wet, almost like wool or fur that's been sopping in swamp water, the smell
Grody.
of beast. And eventually, as you trek closer and closer, and the sound gets closer and closer, and the smell becomes overpowering, the British guy up front begins to falter, and he stops, and he's like, what are we doing? We can't just walk up on it, he says in a hushed tone.
What do you
Yeah, have a
expect
better
we
idea?
do?
I untie him and take the lead and pass him back to the back of the line.
and I just, clap him on the back. I'm like, chin up, man.
So I'm leading the way now.
All right. And soon you round a corner, and further down the hallway, you see in the sort of shroud of the shadow of these tiny little pinprick candles providing light, the enormous hunched figure of something ahead of you. And it's
Don't
not
fight.
clear yet exactly what it looks like, but it is sort of trudging ahead of you, away from
I hate
you.
the idea of trying to fight this thing in a hallway.
How close are we to it?
You're probably like 100 feet or more right
All
now.
right, we keep going. I keep pushing on.
Is there like a
I'm gonna
a corridor to the
Yeah,
side?
so there will be like as you're walking, there'll be like side corridors and
Good.
ones that pass by and corners and stuff.
We could lure him out. We could
To
pay
an
him and
intersection.
maybe have a couple few in an intersection, and as he passes through the intersection, you shoot them from behind.
I think that's a good idea.
I keep following him until we come to an intersection.
I'm gonna pull or untie myself from the rope because we're gonna need to start splitting off here, and I don't want to get dragged off with somebody if they get grabbed.
Do any of you have a trap? Your trappings, like a
No.
bear trap or something like that we could use?
No, I don't.
Oh, we
Would-
could use a rope. Maybe he will.
I mean,
Trying to think. Would any of you reasonably have a bear trap? Knocklob wouldn't, because
No.
he's a Sun Eater aspirant.
I'm a gambler. I will have cards before
Yeah.
I
I
have
have
a
a
trap.
net.
Yeah, net. That's.
Oh.
I mean, a net it could be useful.
Yeah, it could be
I don't know
useful.
what the hell this ×3 powder is, but
That's probably like gunpowder.
I've got 30 black powder with bullets. I mean, how much black powder comes with these bullets? Because if we could get enough, maybe we would kind of set up like a very bad shrapnel bomb.
Oh yeah. What would you contain it in?
It's a good question. Does anything have anything to contain it in? Like, the best I have is a backpack.
Yeah, that wouldn't work super well.
I don't have anything.
Well,
Keep
let's
pushing on.
yeah, we'll keep going, and then we can.
I want to slowly close the distance until we get to an opening or
We could
Yeah.
try and use the
an
rope and, like,
intersection.
try and trip it as you come running back.
Yeah.
Who said I'm gonna run back?
We want to lure it to an intersection so we can all hit it, right?
Who said I'm gonna run back?
Well, then you can face it by yourself one-on-one, because we're not going to be able to help much in a single-file hallway.
So you said he wanted to follow it into an intersection.
Into an intersection or an opening of some sort where
Yeah,
we have
so
a little
you-
more wiggle room.
You can follow it, and you can see a cross, a four-way intersection coming up.
Okay.
Oh,
And-
I figure we pull him back to an intersection
Yeah.
and then we can ambush him.
So I let him pass through the intersection
Okay.
and choose his direction. And then as we get to the intersection, I begin singing a lullaby.
Okay.
Oh, God. Should have at least let us set up. I'm going to get off to the side, and
Do we
if we
do
want to try the rope thing,
Yeah.
other than that.
I begin singing to it in hopes of lulling it to sleep.
So, Albert begins singing in this intersection.
You
And-
sing
Christ,
French?
Fucking whack job.
I'm singing a French lullaby that I heard as a child.
Frere
Very
Jacques,
soothing.
Frere Jacques,
Very soothing
Dormez.
melody.
And so what do the others? What do the other three want to do as he sings?
I'm getting off to the side of one of the intersection, and I'm gonna have like my musket on the ground, and then I'll kneel down with like if anybody has a rope to try and trip it with. But I mean,
I've
unless
already
someone's on the
untied
other side.
myself. We have plenty of rope.
Yeah, I mean, you have cords of rope that you've all freed yourself from.
I mean, I still need someone on the other side, so.
I'm gonna hand the other end of the rope to the British guy. Be like, hold this.
Hold this.
And then I'll stand behind him.
What does the net do?
No, they're gonna try to trip the Minotaur with the rope, like
Yeah.
as he crosses
Yeah,
through the
But
intersection.
yeah, we could trip him. We could throw a rope, and then we could shoot him. More
Yeah.
things,
Yeah, throw
but
the net and then
for his
shoot him.
movement,
I
it
can
will be
see. I
better.
don't know
but-
if that actually does anything special.
So as you're looking at,
The
so
hallway.
Topher, you begin to
Yeah.
sing,
Uh-huh.
and the deep chuffing breath stops for a second,
Uh-huh.
and the
Beeping.
hulking frame of this thing slowly,
Anybody else getting really weird deja vu right now?
the head turns towards you,
Dear.
and for the
Nathan.
first time
Nathan, have we ever played in a campaign where we were singing to a Minotaur with Hunter before? I swear this has happened before.
I don't think so.
The net would just knock them prone if they don't resist.
Okay.
So we're basically already doing that. So
Yeah, but why don't we have like backup?
yeah,
Wood
I mean, I
balls,
can
one
have
with
the net ready.
Sure.
So
Yeah, you have the net ready.
well, who's better with simple ranged weapons? Because I am not good with them.
I think I have simple range. Let me double check.
So
Look at it.
I'm better off just being on one
Combat
side
is my
of the
worst
rope.
stat.
Yeah,
So
I do. I can do that.
Okay.
So Topher, you see that as this thing was walking ahead of you in the hallway, it was like deeply hunched over, and it slowly turns and begins to stretch its back and stand, and the head comes around the massive shoulder, and you see
Dear.
that it is a Minotaur, but instead of two pointed horns of a bull, you see almost like bony hands, the giant scooping antlers of a bull moose turns its long snout with pointed fangs, yellow eyes wide with fury towards you,
I keep singing sweet lullabies.
and it turns, dragging a giant muscled hand along the wall as it barely is fitting in this like cramped hallway and standing its full height, and it fully faces you in the hallway. And give me a performance. What is this?
Jesus.
Either charm or guile. I could have swore there was a That's
Oh dear
perfect.
God!
dear
I'm
God.
flipping. I'm flipping. Screw that.
You can't.
I'm doing it again.
You
Huh?
can't.
I
You
can't.
It's a
can't.
crit
It's
fail.
a critical fail.
No.
And
No.
it looks at you and it charges. It bellows the whooping, shrieking
Oh,
moose
hold
bellow.
on. Hold on. Was that a? Oh, that was charm.
Yep.
Crap! I should have rolled guile.
Oh yeah, because you can do things with guile, right?
Yeah.
So I will allow you a coordination as you realize your ruse has failed.
What about us tripping him?
Well, he hasn't got to you yet, so he
okay.
is charging down the hallway. Topher
Okay.
is ahead of you. I don't know if he even knows that
Oh.
you have put the rope up.
Oh.
Because you stepped into the hallway, right, Topher?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's up ahead of you guys.
Okay.
So he's gonna come bounding back with the moose Ator hot on his heels. But as you make to dive out of the way, Topher, you see that dangling from this thing's neck on a
course.
long, thin chain
Of course.
is a little pyramid-shaped brass medallion.
What could that be? Oh, it's the letter Delta.
And it is the chain is long enough that it hangs almost like touching the ground with his normal posture. It's not like a tight necklace around his neck. And so he
How wide is his stance? Like,
so as
how
he's
much
you
of
see
a gap is between his legs?
there's a pretty significant gap between his legs as he's like
Okay.
settling down almost in like a gorilla stance and
Okay.
comes plowing towards you, antlers scraping chunks of wood off the walls as he's steamrolling toward you.
Okay.
And you
I'm gonna-
have a check of some
gonna-
kind.
I want to dive through his legs and grab the necklace.
All right. Hit me with a coordination.
Okay. I can flip because that
You
wasn't a
can
critical
flip that
fail.
one, yep.
All right.
You mean reroll?
Yep.
Yeah. What the hell?
No more tokens, boys.
So he comes barreling down the hallway, head lowered, screaming and bellowing, the sound of a bull moose, and blasts through your friend Albert, and you take. Dun, 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 dun,
I didn't think he walked down the hallway. He was supposed to be behind the room. Or run back.
You take 13 points of damage as he slams into you and throws you back down into the intersection and continues trucking. How do you guys think we should resolve the rope trick? Do you think he should resist it with a coordination? Do you think you guys should make like a combined brawn or athletics?
I mean, I feel like, because depending on how many of us, I'm hoping we have at least 2 on each side. That should just add difficulty to his coordination check.
I
Because
like
even
that.
with the net, they make a coordination check.
So
Yeah, and if he's too big for the hallway, basically, anyway, he should be, like, getting some penalties to that roll regardless.
sure. So yeah,
That's my argument.
so there's only you and the British guy holding the rope as far as I know.
Okay.
I can hold it.
Okay, so yeah, and then
We could have Nick, whatever his name is, on the other side. That'd be
Knock
4 of us
Club.
holding it.
okay.
Not club. Because I figure with the size of this thing, we're going to want multiple people, or
Yeah.
2 of us are just going to get yanked.
So Albert's body is thrown back towards you guys over the rope into the intersection,
Zane just
Followed-
shakes his head.
followed shortly by the steamrolling Minotaur, who makes
Can I like roll out of the way? Like
no, you failed.
no. No. I've already taken damage, Hunter.
Oh, you mean now? Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
make him trample you or anything.
Oh, he's supposed to fall onto Topher as he trips.
Yeah, so he rolls his coordination with minus 20, I suppose.
That sounds fair. I can live with that.
And
That's a
Put on-
74.
that is a failure. So you all pull the rope tight, Star Wars ATST style, and he comes barreling into it, and the 4 of you feel just the massive weight of this thing slam against the rope, pulling it taut in your hands, burning the skin as the friction rips through, and he splays out on the ground. Right, like Albert is like laying flat on his back, and the antlers slam into the ground on either side of him, where the Minotaur has fallen. And you are not crushed or anything, but you are not in a great position. And you see,
I just want to grab the necklace and put my double barrel to the side of his head.
so you like he slowly begins like getting his arms under him and getting his bearings, and you are like sitting on the ground right in front of him as the head slowly comes up and locks eyes with you.
I shoot him.
Yeah, and everybody can take their actions here. I presume you want to grab for the necklace.
Yeah, I want the necklace.
All right. Yeah, and the rest of you can roll your shooties or stabbies or whatever.
I am going to. I need to look up how spell casting works.
Should we roll initiative or just
we won't do initiative for this.
Okay.
Basically, like a surprise round.
Yeah, and my hope is that we will resolve this without having to fall into actual combat. But Albert, what do you think? Do you think coordination again as you crawl forward and grab for it?
Maybe athletics?
I could see athletics. So you tuck and roll into it towards him, reaching and just barely, as gunfire roars around you and your friends scream and shout and cower in terror at this horrible monstrosity. You roll forward and you come face to face with this dangling necklace in front of you, grabbing it, yanking it off the neck. Everybody else go ahead and do your things.
I'm not going to attack or anything.
Okay.
I am actually gonna shoot it because it gets you an extra point of damage, or an extra die of damage while they're on the ground.
Yeah, so he is prone technically, and so you will get your extra fury die.
I will do an aim and shoot.
Okay.
I will also do an aim and shoot because we basically have 3 AP to use.
Yeah, essentially.
Right, so I'm gonna do take aim for 2 and shoot.
Come on, really?
I love the idea of you critical failing at like the most important moment.
But it's like this.
You are cursed tonight. Yeah, unfortunately, you are just struggling.
So, is this on like is this tied to like a rope necklace or is it like a chain?
It's just like a very tiny thin chain that you you literally like pink, like pull it and it popped.
Can I slot it into the
you
box?
can unthread it really quick, slot it in.
Okay. And it goes flush and everything?
Yep.
Okay.
So your friends unleash a fusillade of gunfire, and you actually feel Guillermo's round just barely skim past the shoulder, like collar of your jacket as he critically fails to shoot the Minotaur. And unfortunately, Zane also misses in the panic. Yep. And the room fills with gun smoke as you slot the Delta into its little alcove of the machine, and the hands.
Oh la la, Guillermo! Watch where you're shooting.
And the hands rotate and hit their final position, and then you see the box itself switches to alpha, and the hands all spin, and then they all perfectly align, like upwards. All of these middle ones, all of the other sort of side and secondary hands are pointing vertical. And the box very faintly glows and feels warm to the touch. And from the bottom here, if you're looking at the picture, this bottom part splits in the middle and opens towards you. And emerging from this compartment, sort of slowly, almost as it's being like printed or discharged or something, first is the pommel of a sword, and then the gloriously woven grip of it, and finally the beautifully decorated golden wrought inlaid with a motif of angel wings, the handguard emerges of this sword. And it is just like sitting sort of in the box. Obviously, this object is impossibly long and large to actually fit within the confines of the box, but you are holding the box and the grip of the sword emerges towards you.
I King Arthur that shit out of there.
And you unsheath this sword from the puzzle box, and as you do it, a literal like chorus of angel choir follows the blade as it comes out of the box, like ah, and the glow fills this hallway, this light shining off of this weapon. And as you are extracting the blade, you see that it is like a serpentine, sort of wavy blade of like a flamberge.
Yeah.
And as you pull it out and fully remove the blade, it does literally ignite with flame.
Hey, I want to stab the Minotaur where his heart should be.
Roll me martial melee as if you had 2 ranks in the skill. So this is plus 20. And you fail. So you affix 2 hands to the grip of this sword and go to thrust it into the Minotaur, flaming,
but accidentally stab yourself.
flaming blade aglow, and unfortunately,
He dodges.
Yeah,
it's too bad we used all our fortune points.
I
you
missed.
do miss as he begins to regain his footing, and he looks down upon you, and in his mouth that is entirely incapable of human speech, says in the deepest, graveliest voice you've ever heard, "Time to solve the final puzzle." And he rears a hand back to smash you with it. And I suppose at this point we could do initiative, because I was hoping Topher would be better at this.
Me
People
too.
didn't waste all our fortune points. Says the guy who used our first one. Okay, initiative. Damn, I should have cast it. I would have failed the spell anyways. Thank God I've got an amazing initiative.
Not 10.
I got 19. I regret what I'm about to do.
So it looks like, let me roll Knocklobs real quick. Yeah, so Zane, you are first.
So I am going to do a quick load for 0 AP.
Yeah.
And the shot's only good within short distance. Oh, big surprise! I'm also going to be left defenseless until my next turn. And then I'm going to take aim for plus 20 and shoot.
Alright.
My God, I am not going to enjoy it. Fucking kill me, I'll piss it off. It'll murder me, holy shit. I fucking hit! And I rolled a 1, so I get to roll another d6.
You did it.
And I rolled a 1, so I get to roll another d6.
There you go.
So
5,
6,
6.
9 points.
Okay, 1 second.
You're fine. I hope I do something.
Yeah, so you again. Yeah, I love that quick load. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Quick load, fire your musket, and you see the bullet lodges into the thick meat of his cloven hoof thigh. And he scarcely seems to acknowledge it as his fist is on its path towards Albert and the sword. Guillermo, what would you like to do?
I will just need it.
Okay. Quick
Just
load,
reload and yeah, and do for
double aim.
double aim and shoot.
Boy, here we go.
You can do it, Nacho. You can succeed
I
on
believe,
one roll.
Nacho.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did it.
there you
Yay.
go.
So you fire your little like Derringer musket into it. Again, that same idea of like a bullet disappearing into the thick, shaggy fur and mane of this thing. Blood beginning to leak out from the wounds. As the fist crashes downward onto Albert. And would you like to parry?
Yeah.
Wait, is it? This is sprung, right?
It stood up at the end of our like surprise round.
Okay, okay.
I parry.
Yeah, so in this you basically raise this flaming sword to ward off the fist and glance it aside as it like leans down and roars into your face. And it is now your turn.
I'm gonna take aim and attempt to strike him in the heart again with this sword. So I'm gonna take aim, which gives me an extra 20%.
Yeah, so if you use 2 AP to take aim and then the
then
last one to attack.
Martial melee.
And
How the hell do you have 2 ranks in martial melee?
the
Because he gave me an extra
sword-
rank for this
Yeah.
sword.
Oh,
the
okay.
sword
okay,
provides it.
Jesus.
So it leans down and roars in your face, and in defiance of all natural reaction, you surge forward and thrust this flaming blade deep into its meaty chest and bone and hide, piercing into its heart. Roll me 2d6 plus your combat.
2d6 plus combat? Okay.
Yep. And then roll me another 2d6, and these will explode on 1 or 6.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
And so you the drive this sword into this monster as flames wreathe this serpentine blade, and you essentially force it back onto its like haunches and drive it into the ground onto its back with this blade in its chest as it writhes and howls and smolders as the flames catch onto its fur, and it lets out a final trumpeting howl into the darkness and falls limp underneath Albert. And with that,
Does that make
things-
me King Albert?
yeah, probably king of something. And with
King
that,
Albert
the
Camelot.
You wish.
Your surroundings change. That
Oh.
same feeling of like static electricity in the air, of making the hairs on your neck stand on end.
Oh yeah.
You standing atop the Minotaur with the sword in its chest, and your friends and companions and one British guy standing around you, muskets pointed and screaming. The body of the Minotaur slowly dissolves into nothingness.
The British guy's
And the-
pointing his musket even though he knows there's no bullets in
Yeah,
it.
he's like,
It
I
doesn't
don't,
matter.
you assholes. The body of the Minotaur slowly dissolves into transparent mist as the boards and the walls around you shudder and fade and fold back away from you as you're standing almost in like gray void, and slowly what fades in around you, the six of you are standing in the entrance hall of the safe house, in the same positions you were in the killing of the Minotaur. Albert poised with the sword stuck into a now non-existent monster, and you all, your senses come to you, and you find yourselves standing here, where it all began, at the entrance.
Is it day or night?
It is night, so it is still, well, actually, now that I think about it,
We
it
were
is
down there for
probably,
hours.
yeah,
We
it's
rested for
probably
hours.
now, streaming sunlight coming through the windows and the door behind you. You can see as you turn around that the body of the mountain lion still lays where it was decimated out in the field. Yeah, it's bright, sunny. The air of dis-ease has left the safe house as the puzzle box sits on the floor between all of you, silent and motionless.
Do I see any of those?
If
Let's walk
you
on to that.
go out to a window to look out,
Yeah.
you will see that the forest is clear of any deer. There's nothing standing at the edge of the green space watching you. It is simply a beautiful early spring morning in the Northeast United States.
I
think
clapped
we
the
could-
British guy on the back again. I'm like, that wasn't so bad, was it?
And he's just like leaning against the wall, like holding on to something. He's like, I suppose so.
No, I'm with the British guy. That could have been so much worse.
And I'm just
That
like,
was not a good time.
jerky? And
he'll
then I go upstairs and get the other one.
Yeah, he'll
Bring-
absentmindedly like take the jerky and begin chewing on it.
I do not succeed at healing Topher. Sorry, bud.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Topher got a little roughed up.
A little bit.
Um
Just rub some dirt on it.
yeah, so you
It's okay. I'm only moderately wounded. It's fine.
Oh, moderately.
as you guys walk among the house, you will see
Yeah, I assisted.
Oh yeah, there you go. That still doesn't do it though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
That Clara is still dead, her body having been burnt in the tub of the wash basin in the kitchen.
A tincture is a healing potion, right?
No.
I mean a laudanum. Sorry.
Yeah, laudanum
Yes.
will move you
Yeah.
up a step.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll take one of my laudanums.
Yeah, and so for the sake
could
of
spend the
brevity,
night.
what was that?
I was going to say we could spend the night and then leave tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and you would all probably end up going back to the doctor's like study or whatever where he had all of his notes, and you would see that on his list, one of the possible things that he thought might be within the puzzle box is something that he called the Flaming Sword of Paradise. And you can roll education or folklore to see if that is something that your character recognizes.
Yes.
And yeah, so you guys are all kind of like looking at this magnificent weapon of power that was pulled from the puzzle box and looking at the list, and Ignacio, who again happens to be a very well-educated gambler, and Zane, you come down to this point on the list and you're like, oh, the Flaming Sword of Paradise. This is the weapon that supposedly God left with the Archangel to protect the gates of the Garden of Eden from any humans ever returning.
That's what it's from. I knew there was something like biblical that these were like the flaming sword was from.
So this is some kind of angelic blade that was recovered or found or something and hidden within the puzzle box so that only the worthy could wield its awesome and terrible power. And apparently that is a French trader
Dude, pretty sure we've basically just given a flaming sword to like Lucifer in a metaphorical sense.
Yeah, I
Oui,
mean,
oui.
He's like a
I
traitor.
love it.
and so you are able to rest easy in the safe house, and you find it much more accommodating now that there aren't horrible deer monsters outside and spooky ghost women and things like that. And
That's to kill us.
Yeah,
I personally
British.
love spooky ghost women.
well, I mean that's fair. But you know, British assholes trying to shoot you and that sort of thing. And you all set out, presumably with 2 prisoners in tow, heading back towards Rebel HQ to return both the box, which is now seemingly inert, and it's not super clear how to reactivate it if you were to want to hide something in it, as well as this grand sword.
Bad
and-
things happen when it's activated.
What?
Bad things
Oh, yeah.
happen when it's activated.
But
Don't
if you
do that.
ever wanted to really protect something,
Yeah, for sure.
you could put it
Good
inside.
way.
In the
and-
week after our adventure, each of you develop a slight tremor that you can't quite figure out.
Yeah. Because
know.
and it sucks that Hunter wasn't here.
Yeah.
Cuz Augustin is a cannibal and was feeding all of you people meat the whole time.
Yeah.
And so we were gonna play into that a little bit because he was like, "Oh, it's a Wendigo and it makes you want to eat people," when it actually wasn't.
Nice.
And so it was gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, it's happening," when it was just Augustin being a psycho,
That's amazing.
all on his own. So I was a little bummed
Man,
that
that was
he.
a good thing I didn't take the jerky from Chris.
Yeah. I was a little
No,
bummed
but
that
the-
he couldn't be
Our
here.
British friend took a lot of it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
both
did.
of them.
did.
Yeah, because
Oh, this is good stuff.
last
Hell yeah,
session,
Chris. Hell yeah.
last session when you guys were in the sub basement, she was filleting the dead British guys upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And so
Amazing.
she had plenty of meat to go around.
I was
Amazing.
going to make
That
a joke
is
about it when
insane.
you were reading it. Red coat, I contain myself.
But yeah, so that is the conclusion of the safe house. And in my head, actually I would need to look, but probably a few months afterwards, George Washington is seen wielding a flaming angelic sword in battle against the British or some shit.
Hell yeah.
Love
As
it.
you guys turn it over to the intelligence, and it is used to turn the tide against the devilish Brits and their plans.
That's how we actually won the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I remember that in the books where George Washington had this
Yeah.
big flaming sword.
They took it out of the new curriculum, Hunter. They
Yeah,
don't
it's
do
too
that
cool.
anymore.
They don't want people to like history too much.
We know too much. We know too much.
So, we started late, we ended late, but we eventually got there, and I had a lot of fun. This was super fun to create.
Yeah.
It obviously ended up turning out a little bit different than I very initially planned for the first session, but that's just sort of how these things go. And I want to thank my wonderful friends here, plus Hunter, who played in the first two sessions. Super awesome time. Was hopefully had by all, and you wonderful viewers for watching and commenting and rating and following and subscribing. We
Yeah,
definitely
right.
appreciate it. If you are interested in playing Flames of Freedom, there is a free quick start rule set on DriveThruRPG.
Ooh,
It's a
free.
super awesome Call of Cthulhu style, like, horror investigation game set in the American Revolutionary War. And it's totally rad. And is there anything else that we should say? Oh, we have a bunch of other shows. Fiends and Friends. We do things on Wednesday nights and Saturday afternoons. Probably not tomorrow,
Friday.
but next Saturday. Next Friday, we will be resuming our regularly scheduled programming, where we will be on like episode 20, 19
Something like that.
of
Like,
Scarlet.
all that matters is
Yeah.
Celine Herzog is back.
Yeah, Scarlet Sash Stories. We are nearing the climax of that storyline as well. It's getting pretty hype over there. So tune in here for that show next Friday. And thank you for being awesome.
And you're doing a new show?
Yes, so we're planning to do a new show on Mondays. And it's going to be every other Monday to begin with. And it's shaping up to be pretty friggin' rad. It's going to be D&D 5th edition, but it's like Wild West rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting stuff. So I've been working on that for the last like few days, getting like lore and systems and things built for that, and it's gonna be pretty cool, and it's gonna have a bunch of new people in it, which is also very fun. So we will have Nathan and Chris as 2 returning cast members, and then 4 other new people who will be playing with us on Fiends and Friends, which is very exciting.
And I hope people like possums.
Yeah. Nate has a very interesting character concept that he's very excited about.
Yeah, I am.
Really excited about it now too.
Better be, it's got possums.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, we've got all kinds of shit going on.
Wear the
Um,
veil.
So check us out here. Check us out on our channel, Fiends and Friends.
Yeah.
And stay awesome. Drink lots of water. Get enough sleep. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.